Welcome everybody to the Powered Up Podcast. My name is PowellGuyGaming. I'm your host. I'm joined by Big Imperial, Shumo, and Sleepless Elite.
What up?
What up? Also, special guest Sabel.
Yeah.
This is so boring.
Oh, man.
And,
Sabel.
Chicken chow, man.
No, hey, shut up! No more as for you, innit?
it's the 3rd of June, 2018, and we're here to talk about E3, Battlefield 5, Pokemon Go, and in our entertainment section, we're going to be talking about the NFL protests and the new rules or laws for that. Pusha T and the Drake disc, whoop whoop, and Netflix and market worth. We've also got some other stuff to talk about too. We'll get into that later on. The first thing I want to talk about really is E3 because it's coming up pretty soon. I got a list of the games. I'm not going to read them all out because God is a lot. But we're just going to talk about first and foremost the games we want to see there. I've given the list to everybody, so everybody's kind of got a sneak peek. I'm going to go ahead and say the main game that I'm looking forward to is probably Last of Us 2. What do you guys think? What's the main game you guys are looking forward to for E3 to be announced? Big, I'll start with you, Big.
I've got two. Yeah, so I've got Battlefield 5.
Okay.
And I've got Spider-Man or Tomb Raider.
Ooh, you got 3. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, what about you, Shuma?
I want to see more on Fallout 76 that got announced the other day.
Fallout. All right. Sleep.
For me, there's actually 3. So one of them is Fallout 76.
Okay.
The other one is the Spider-Man game that's coming out in September.
Yes, sir.
And then the third one, I literally had it, Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Beyond Good and Evil 2. All right, and Sabel, right? I'm gonna ask you kind of an alternate question because I don't know if you play games. So do you play?
Oh,
games?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
I've got PS4, and I'm actually looking forward to Spider-Man and the vampire game. Have you heard about it?
Yes.
I've heard a little bit about it.
Yes, I know about that.
Because I like all that kind of stuff anyway. So it just I don't know. I've been watching some trailers on it, but you know sometimes trailers don't give you as much as you want to see. But it comes out tomorrow, doesn't it? I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we'll have to. It's an interesting game.
Are you gonna buy it? Are you gonna buy it day one?
I want to wait because I sometimes if I really know I'm gonna like something, I'll go for it there and then. But I want to see some people do some reviews on it first when it comes out, so then I'll know if I really want to get it.
All right, so I'm gonna flip the question around and kind of say, what games are you not looking forward to to be announced in E3? And Big, you can go first again. Big, go for it.
Games that I'm not looking forward to. From this list.
There's a lot on the list. There's a lot on the list.
I don't have. Okay, well, I Overcooked 2. I don't have a Switch, so.
I was gonna say, right? Because I thought you were about to say to me, "Oh no, I'm looking forward to every game." I was about to say, "Come on, man, is anybody really looking forward to Roller Coaster Tycoon on the Switch?" Like, nah, not really. Right? Because me personally, I'm not really looking forward to Sonic Team Racing. Now I've played the old Sonic Racing games. I'm a big Sonic fan, right? And I don't know, there's just something about him being in a car. I don't really see the point.
It doesn't feel right.
Yeah, like he himself can go fast.
Well, yeah, exactly. Why does he need a car? I think that's gonna slow him down.
Right.
He got rich and got lazy. That's basically it.
That's on it.
And also Rage 2. I don't know if anyone ever played Rage 1, but I was not a very big fan of Rage 1. And Rage 2, it looks okay, but I'll probably be a game I'm definitely not gonna get. So that's my 2 games I'm not looking forward to. Shumo, what about you?
So what's the question? What am I not looking forward to?
What games are you not looking forward to be announced in
FIFA 19 and Just Dance 2019.
What?
Dance, right? Okay.
Put some respect on FIFA's name.
Why don't you put some respect on FIFA's name and stop playing? You're dead, bro.
You don't know my story.
Nigeria will never win the World Cup.
Everybody who watched your stream knows your story. Your story ends with you throwing up and passing out in your bed.
You have no evidence. You don't have any evidence.
Bruv,
Everyone's
You
talking.
don't have any evidence.
Jordan has the recording.
Oh
I
my
think
god!
I do. I think I do.
Hi. You think? You doubt.
Ow.
You already thought. Yeah, you have doubt.
What about you?
But
Sleep?
no,
What
I
about
got so waved.
Wiener, bro.
you? Sleep. The game
me.
you're not looking forward to. Yeah, not looking forward to.
Not looking forward to. Oh, there's a few still. For me, Assassin's Creed, Odyssey.
They don't need any more of those games, man. They're all the same. I don't understand what is the point.
I don't know. But yeah, Assassin's Creed, the new Battlefield. I've changed my mind on this after some thinking about it. I'm kind of now not hyped for the new Call of Duty Black Ops 4.
Right.
Same thing, FIFA 19. Don't care about it.
Haters.
Football,
And
man. Football sucks.
I'm skeptical about the Division 2. Very skeptical about it because the first one was kind of like pick up and it was like, but I think it's just because of who I was playing with that I was like, man.
It's because you joined in with us super late,
Yeah,
and I don't think the difficulty scaled.
yeah. But for me, I don't know. But those are the games I'm personally just not looking forward to.
Fair enough.
I'm skeptical about Gears 5 also.
Right. I was actually gonna pick. I'm gonna pick out 3 games, and I want you guys to give me a hey or a nay. Hey meaning approved, and nay meaning not approved. Right.
Excuse me. Sorry. It's also, by the way, just saying it's yay. But
Okay, fair enough. We'll say yay. We'll say yay and nay. So Crackdown 3.
No, sorry. Listen, Crackdown 3. There's rumors going around that it's been delayed again
Really?
to maybe 2019.
so it's Crackdown. So brief rundown of Crackdown is basically you are a police-like super soldier.
Dead. No.
And-
Right.
It's Robocop shit.
Coming
No,
straight
I'm
from
not
on the
that
ground.
like yeah, basically, imagine you see
So dumb. What?
Yeah, it's like it's one of those things where it's like
Oh, there's 3 of these games.
man. I mean,
right.
technically 2. The third one keeps getting pushed back. It might never come out. After playing the first 2, I'm kind of like depending on what they do, but I'm gonna say nay now.
Right.
Definitely.
Big. What about you? Hello, Big.
Oh my god, he's falling asleep already.
Sleep again.
No way.
Already.
Hey, Big. Yeah, I don't think your mic's working, so I'm just gonna take your turn for you. I'm gonna say yay because.
No.
Oh, he's back.
You're back.
No,
Yeah,
he's-
so I was having a common fit, so
he's lying. He's falling asleep.
He passed out.
Yeah,
No.
Yay
So
or nay
what's
for
the question?
Crackdown 3, dude?
I've never played it.
You never played any Crackdown before?
Okay, so that's a nay
Nah.
then.
That's probably a nay for you then. I say yay, and the reason for it being is because I loved Crackdown 1. Crackdown 2 was good if you played 4-player because everyone was running around freaking shooting up, blowing stuff up. It was awesome. I just want to see what they would do to make it different because in Crackdown 2 they added zombies, and I don't know if anyone likes zombies as much as I do. I'm a big fan of zombies.
no.
So, yeah, I want to see what they do for number 3. So, and also I think Terry Crews did like a
That's the reason why I'm
Yeah,
kind of
he
like
was
on the
attached
fence
to
about it.
right.
He was attached to it somehow, but that was years ago.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so next one is Kingdom Hearts 3. Anyone know what Kingdom Hearts is?
Yeah,
I've never heard of it before though.
I'm
What
a
is
big Kingdom Hearts fan. So Kingdom Hearts is a game which was like mixing Final Fantasy and Disney characters together.
Ooh.
Action RPG series. They're really big, weird, convoluted like story games. But no, yeah, I love them.
Sounds like my thing. So
Say that again.
that kind of sounds like what I'd play that.
Yeah, I've got them. I'll lend them to you, and you can check them out.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. They reckon it's 2018 release. I'll believe it when I see it.
I can't go away.
The last one came out, I think. When was it? Like 2000 and
11?
no, I think it was earlier than that.
Seriously?
Like Kingdom Hearts 2 was PS2.
Oh my god, yeah, it was. Yeah, it would have been
It's a
like
long time ago.
2009.
I think it was like 2000 and that sounds about right. Um,
Oh, damn.
been waiting a very long time for this, and it got announced in 2013. So we've been waiting half a decade.
Mad.
And
Mad.
last one, Smash Bros. Super Smash Bros.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely looking forward to that. Definitely.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
add Smash Bros to my list to what I'm looking forward to.
Right. What about you, Sleep?
Yeah.
What do you think? Sleep?
I'm on the. I'm still. I was saying I'm on the fence about it. Mostly because I just don't have a Switch, so the likelihood of me playing it would be pretty low anyway.
Let's go to Shumo's
As
house.
the game itself, I think it'll be. If you're asking whether I think it's gonna do good, then 100% it will do. Whether I'd put it this way, it's not a game that I would go out and buy a Switch.
Okay.
Shumo.
Yes.
You know, I know you're a big.
Yes.
I know you're a big Smash Bros fan.
Yes.
Have you ever?
Yes.
I think the question's done. The answer's yes.
No.
I'm trying to get to what he wants to ask.
No. It's revolved around esports, right? When esports for Smash is out, or when esports for Smash is played, a lot of the time it's centered around Melee. You know, Melee.
Yeah.
Smash Bros.
Yeah.
Do you think this one might have the potential to kind of like take Melee's place in the esports section? Do you think that? What do you think? I think it's too early.
Yeah, it depends what they do with it, because people like Melee for like a lot of the technical aspects of it, and some of the weird like mechanics like tripping and stuff like that. It's just like I don't get into it on that level. I just like fucking around with it with my mates or whatever. But yeah, maybe. I mean, like Melee's usually the holy grail of the Smash Bros when it comes to like Evo and stuff like that. But no, yeah, there's definitely a chance just on the name alone.
Fair enough. All right, fair enough. So I'm gonna move on to kind of the schedule for E3. I got like a little list up. So Saturday the 9th. That is, I believe it's E3's. EA's section, or EA's day, I guess. Sunday the 10th is Xbox's Bethesda, depending on how you pronounce that. I believe that is the 11th, along with Square Enix. I believe also with Ubisoft as well. So that's 3 on the same day. The 12th is Sony, which is what I'm personally looking forward to. Nintendo's also on the 12th as well. And I believe that is kind of it. I think it stretches over 3-4 days. I think.
Yeah, I think is it 5 days?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm personally looking forward to Sony's one because, and the main reason why I want to talk about this personally myself, I'm going to kind of get you guys to weigh in, is because people have been saying the PS5.
Yeah, I was hearing about that as well.
Rumored to kind of make its not necessarily appearance, but be talked about or be announced this year, right? So the only way we're going to really hear about it is in the Sony announcement, right?
Mm.
So I'm personally looking forward to seeing what they say about it. Now I don't think the PS5 is going to come out this year or next year. I think it will be
the earliest is definitely be 2020.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, what can they do? Well, you say that. What more could they do?
Yeah.
They surprise you every time. So it's like, but I just feel like it's going to be.
Yeah, because the PS Pro and the Xbox One X are capable of doing 4K games.
Yeah.
But they have to obviously be designed differently, and it's a whole.
Do you think that will be the main thing then? The main feature is.
Oh yeah, that'll be one of the things. But it will be geared more towards.
Well,
that.
yeah, that's fairly new, isn't it?
That's what I was going to actually pitch a question to you guys. What if we can get into it? What do you reckon the speculation will be for the PS5? Like, what do you think spec-wise is going to change? What do you think they're going to try and push with this new console? And that's if they announce it.
I'll go first. I'll take that one first. I think if anything, what they're gonna do is just it's kind of like just double down on what the PS4 has, right? So it's gotta make sure like it can lock 60 FPS on almost every single game that is graced with it. All the graphics has to be what they classify as next gen. That's what they always call it when a new console comes out, right? So everything's got to be next gen. I'm assuming they'll bring out another DualShock, so like a DualShock 5 controller, which will have better like ability to read the different axes and stuff like that, right? In terms of the actual console, what they can definitely due to kind of I guess beat its rivals, like Xbox or Nintendo or whatever, right? It's just the hardware has to be good enough in order for it to be accessible for more games, because people, even though it's a terrible argument, people always try and have this argument where, oh, consoles are catching up with PC. We all know they're not, right, when it comes to gaming, but the consoles now, they have like better hardware in it, so now there's games that would only be able to be played on PC once upon a time can now be played on consoles. So I feel like PlayStation 5, their motto is going to be like, because their motto is like for the players, I think it's called. I think that's what their little
and greatness awaits.
Yeah, right. I feel like in order for them to achieve that, they're going to make the system hardware better so it can be played more games on it. Basically, that's my take. That's my take.
Do you do you guys think the PS5 will allow you to play PS4 games?
No.
Do you think they'll add that feature?
No.
Did you say
I think they will, because I think
well, they should, because you can play PS3 games. Well, they can't, can you?
Not for Xbox. For PlayStation, you can't play PS3 games, but on the Xbox, you can play Xbox 360 games.
Shrooms, you weigh in, because I think you might have something that's gonna like blow my mind.
No, I mean, I feel like they have to at this point. The reason why we don't have it on the PS4 is because they bought a gaming streaming service called Gaikai, and launched their service called PlayStation Now, which allows you to play PS3 games and stuff like that. But it's streamed instead of like how Xbox Games Pass is, where you download the game and then you get to play it. But I feel like they're going to have to at this point, just because of like backwards compatibility did a lot of great stuff for Xbox. It gives them a lot of positive press, and that's one of like the shining features of the console. And every single generation, everybody asks for it with Sony, and they keep asking for it. And I feel like people are getting louder to the point where they're going to have to give it to you now, because there's no excuse why not, especially with how the architecture of the system is now. Before, with 360 and PS3, they had very different architectures. Now they're a lot closer to how PCs are. So I feel like it's easier to do, like emulation, and yeah, they can afford to do it. Like, they're not going to lose out.
For me, I never understood as to why they wouldn't do it, because it would mean that you would, people who, let's say if somebody just comes into it now, buys a PS5, if they don't think about all the PS4 games that somebody could go grab from your local store, whatever, that are pre-owned or whatever. They could still, in a sense, it lets people catch up and see what they missed.
Yeah.
And that's to me what the important thing is that they need to remember. Like, not everybody had a PS3. So for me, I didn't have a PS3, so there's a lot of games that I didn't get a chance to play, and some of them they did do, what is it, like definitive remasters, where they remasters where they brought stuff old but back now and it's updated and blah blah blah. But a lot of the stuff they didn't. So it's like,
it's I mean, silly, but like practically, like storage and everything like that. Not everyone's going to want to keep every single console, and then some people don't even have them, and some people don't want to keep all that with them, do they? They want the newest thing, update, and then, done. Yeah, it's like, not everyone's a collector. Not everyone wants to
have every single iteration.
So you need to take that into consideration as well.
I mean, they can make money on it.
I think I'm gonna try to take two stances, right? Because I don't think they're going to, and I'll get into why I don't think in a second. But to take the stance with you guys in the sense of why I think they should, is because Xbox One, the release for Xbox One, I don't think it wasn't nowhere near as good as the PlayStation 4.
Trash.
Right? But I feel like Xbox was able to stay in the running because they just keep, this game backwards compatible now, or this franchise backwards compatible now, or you can just plug in, or you can just put in, like, I don't know, Halo 3, and now you can play it on your Xbox One. So no longer do you need your old 360 system. And there's all these franchises on all these games that get backwards compatibility on Xbox. And everyone's like, oh crap, I can go and like play my old Xbox 360 games, put them in, right? I'm gonna go and rebuy the game again. So like, I feel like that is the reason why they should do it. But the reason why I don't think they would do it is because it's like, I don't know if companies get that much money from all these pre-owned PlayStation 3 games, right? So I go to, I don't know, get the God of War 1 to 3 on the PS3. I go to CEX and I pay like certain amount of money. Is that even worth it to Sony to even be like, oh yeah, to make all these games backwards compatible, so people can go to the shops and still buy them and play them? Like, I don't think that's like even worth it for them. Also, the remastered thing, now they're able to kind of go, oh, this is a good way for us to cash out a little bit of extra money by just remaking an old game or just reskinning an old game. I recently just played Dark Souls, the remastered, and I'm a big Dark Souls fan. I love it, the bits. Beat it yesterday. Yay to me. But like,
let's give Jordan a round of applause.
Thank you. I'm here all week. But like, the thing is, the game wasn't nowhere near different, really. It ran at 60 FPS for the nerds out there, like myself, and it was 1080p, you know. So again, all the nerds out there like myself. But other than that, I could have literally just booted up my Xbox 360 and just played Dark Souls 1 on that, and it would have been exactly the same. The game ran exactly. The story is exactly the same. It functions somewhat exactly the same, right? It's the same game. So it's kind of like it's a good way for the company to be like, oh, let's just release, or let's just get a games company to develop a game again and claim it as it being remastered, but really it's just a little bit of tweaks here and there.
But then don't you think if they release it, their fan base becomes stronger?
Oh, you mean
because you're giving the people,
you're
giving. Yeah, because you're giving people what they want.
Because I was gonna say, does it? I mean, obviously, we're not Sony. We're not the ones making these types of decisions, and we're obviously not seeing it so much from a business end. But also at the same time, this isn't just a solely business related thing. Yes, business is a very strong factor in the games industry, but also it's a thing of. Isn't it also a thing of? People like you more because you're like, hey, you can still have your old games.
Right.
Yeah, it's got to be nice to your consumers, man.
The reason why I don't think we had it this generation from Sony is because they bought that other company, Gaikai. They paid $380 million for them, and they launched their service, PS Now, with it. So it wouldn't make any business sense for them to be like, oh, basically your discs work. You don't need to pay for our service to do this, even though we've just spent 380 million plus because we've got to redo everything, move everyone over, etc.
Do you think that they'll do that on the next one then? They'll create another service where you can play both PS3 and PS4 games to make more money.
But they wouldn't do. They don't double. I don't think the PS3 double backward. Didn't it? Or am I wrong?
Yeah.
No, so the first PS3 that was released, the fat 60 gig one.
Yeah, that
PS2 games, but then like the model immediately after that, the 40 gig version, which was the more widespread one, didn't.
Yeah. But I was saying, but the first one, did that do PS1?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, because I don't think it did. Because I was going to say, there's never been a thing where they've doubled back.
There's only been one generation behind.
And the previous one before that one, too.
There's only been previous.
Yeah, it's only the literal previous generation.
I've heard rumors from people that they believe that this will be the last console.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
I don't know if that's true because I mean, technology is always updating every time. So I mean, it's like the whole iPhone situation. You think that they're going to stop, but
they never do.
It's just a form of marketing, man.
What's the thing? Yeah.
Because I was going to say, there's a law, and I forget what it is, but it's basically to do with technological advancements and how we're hitting a plateau. So I was going to say, because there's been a point where we've been progressing, but nowhere near as fast as we have been before. Like if you take the past. If you take a certain period of time, we've definitely progressed slower.
Say from 2012 to now, it's sort of hit this moment where it's like we're going backwards a little bit. Do you know what I mean?
It's like we're staying very level to where we are. Like we're not progressing nearly as fast.
We're plateauing.
Yeah, exactly. But there was a time where it was like, oh my god, this is happening, this is happening.
Yeah, like
this
just a lot of stuff.
Everything is just happening so quick. 10 years.
Yeah.
2000 to 2010, I think maybe. That time it was just so mad. Now it's like, well, what else can you do?
Yeah, and for me, what I was going to say is would it even warrant buying? Not buying, but would it even warrant? I understand. Yes, we understand from a marketing point of view, it makes sense because it makes money. But let's just sort of take that out of the equation if we can. does it even make sense for them to bring out a brand new console? Because for me, I feel like the Pro will pretty much do what the next one will do.
I think just kind of like take that question and like even better it. I think the answer to your question, I think, is they definitely will release a new one because just more money that they can make, right?
Yeah.
But I think a good question or a bad question could be, will we ever get to the situation where consoles will become like modular devices? So what I mean by that is like, I don't know. You need to upgrade your system. You can just take out the RAM out of the bloody PlayStation and then just upgrade it, right? Or you need, I don't know, to look better. You can take the faceplate off and actually and then just change stuff, take the graphics card out. Will consoles ever get to that stage like a PC? Where you can just upgrade your PC whenever you need to. Will a console ever get there? Do you guys think that?
It's definitely getting to that point because think about it. Most of the time now, you can plug a keyboard and mouse in and play using those. So it's just basically a very tiny PC that only has one function.
So who do you think will do it first? Sony, Nintendo, or
Nintendo?
Well, hold on. What do what first?
Being
able to switch out your hard drive, or
you already can do that with all of these. If you're talking about parts, you already can do it. It's whether they'll actually allow it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, who would allow it first?
Oh, probably so either PlayStation. It would either be PlayStation or Microsoft.
I think it'll be
because me and Shumo, we were talking beforehand. We were saying how Nintendo's really is far behind what you'd expect because you were saying you get
the Switch didn't come out until no, because you had all the DSs.
No, because what we were saying the 3DS, it wasn't a Shumo.
Pointless, that 3DS.
No, the reason why we were saying it was weird is because the console comes with an SD card. But the game is still saved to the SD card, saved to the game cartridge, not the SD card.
Oh right.
But because the SD card is when you download a game, and that's where the save.
Because it can go online, can't it? It's a waste of time.
Nintendo is really backwards in their thinking.
That's why I didn't think that Nintendo would be the first to do it. I honestly don't believe it.
But in terms of like a modular console, I think it would either go one or two ways. I think it would either go with the modular style, or it would become more like phones, where it would be a console refresh more often. So just like we have the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, I could see a future where they do like a little half-quarter upgrade or whatever every 2 or 3 years.
Okay, I see that.
But then getting into that, if that was the case, I feel like if you did it that quickly, I feel like there wouldn't be like a large difference between them. Like I feel like the difference would be so minute that you'd be like, there's no point. Especially because consoles are things that, I mean, yes, it's the same as phones. Like you use your phone every day and stuff like that. But when it comes to gaming and what you're expecting, you expect something to do the job better. And I feel as though with consoles, we're at that point where until I feel like it's going to start getting so expensive that it's going to start being like a thing where, I don't want to say regular.
Consoles are a third of the price as a phone, and people buy new phones every single year.
Yeah,
that's true. But
that's true. I don't know. But I feel as though you spend more money. Over the course of a year, you spend more money on your console than your phone.
Yeah, because games
more people will prioritize a phone over a console.
No, but what I'm saying is, it would still be more expensive. Like having a console would be more expensive. Because think about it. Let's say the next thing it comes out and then it gets a lot better and whatever. So you're also going to expect a price increase. So considering it's got to be better than a Pro. And I understand, yes, over time technology comes down or whatever. But I feel like this next console would be standard price. Like I feel like anywhere between 500 and 600, maybe more.
No, they wouldn't do that. They couldn't do that again because that's how exactly the PS3 failed in the beginning.
Oh yeah, that was mad.
Way.
They came out as
games were already so expensive.
Yeah, and games are getting more expensive because teams are getting bigger, which means it's more people to pay. So
£600 is a lot.
That's
of
not
money
down to
for
the
a
console
game.
though.
No. But you know what I mean. Like that is a thing though.
Surely they wouldn't make it that. But then again, do you know what?
They might do because but that's the thing. Like think about it. In a year, typically, how many games would you say you guys would buy?
I buy a lot.
In a year.
Yeah. So I feel as though by the time a year, like if you buy, let's take your phone and then you take a
You've got to take into consideration people have contracts as well.
Yeah. So let's say,
So
let's
that's
say
like
you buy,
buying a new game
let's say
every
for instance
month.
you buy a phone
If you think
outright.
about it.
Yeah. So
depending
let's
on
say
how
when you
much
buy
your
a phone
contract.
outright and then you buy a console outright. I believe you will spend more money on your console in a year than you would do on your phone. And this is and I'm including your plan too.
Oh, it's close, man. It's close.
No, I genuinely feel you'd be spending more.
I don't know. I feel like it's about.
Would you? Okay, how many games?
No, but wait. You're taking the console and the games together as a price. You're not taking the phone and the extras. You're taking just the phone.
No, I'm saying
the
contract included.
Ooh, it's close, man. It's close.
Yeah, because think about it, you also have to technically pay a contract for your console as well because of the online stuff.
You have to think about some of the subscriptions that you have on there as well on the PlayStation.
But if we're just saying it's just solely for gaming purposes. You've got PlayStation Plus. You've got, and if I guess if you want to do PlayStation now,
in-game purchases as well. I guess not everyone does that, do they?
I still think it would be cheaper if it was spread out over every 2 or 3 years. I still think it would be cheaper.
I mean, not everyone buys games every month.
I had my launch PS4 for 4 years.
Yeah, same.
And then I got a Pro. I've had a Pro for nearly a year now, or whatever.
Yeah.
How long has it been out now?
Got the Pro?
No, well, the PS4 in general.
The PS4 in general. It's been out since
2013.
2013, yeah.
Oh bloody hell!
I bought mine at launch.
So it's wow.
Yeah, it's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah, I didn't even think that it's been that long.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna wrap up the E3 talk, so we're gonna move over to.
One question before we disappear. It's super quick and super simple.
Go for it.
Do you reckon, because obviously there's rumors that PlayStation might talk about a console, is it the same for Microsoft?
No.
I don't think PlayStation is going to mention anything about PS5. It came out recently explaining how the PS4 is starting to sunset the PS4, and they came out and told us in their conference they're focusing on their main 4 games. They're focusing on Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima, whatever it is. I
saw the trailer for that. It looks really good.
Days Gone and Last of Us. No, sorry, Spider-Man and The Last of Us, not Days Gone. Yeah, they're focusing on those 4 in their conference, and I think for them to say, "Oh yeah," and PS5 is coming whenever, it's just going to ruin that. Yeah. They need to focus on those 4 and get all of their hype around 2019. So everyone's focusing on these games, and nobody's thinking about, well,
PS5.
I'm not going to buy them. I'll wait until PS5.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't think they're mentioning it at all. And on top of that, when they announced the PS4, it wasn't at E3. They announced it in their own conference.
Yeah.
In the February of that year, it was launching.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they reckon February 2020 or beyond might be when it actually gets announced.
Yeah, I reckon 2020.
Same.
There was something in that release where they specifically mentioned 2021 for something.
Oh, well, there you go then. Potentiality. Yeah. But let's move on now, shall we?
There you go. 2020, we got the PS5, and 2020 we got Kanye West as president. There you go.
Oh my god!
Please don't say that. Oh my god.
So,
could you imagine Kim Kardashian being?
No.
Oh, can we not imagine if that?
Had you? Oh, my mind is just being blown. I feel sorry for Americans.
You had it right here. I'll kill myself.
Hey, God save the Queen. God save the Queen.
It's that 13 reasons why. Yeah. Okay.
No, trust me.
Anyway, moving on.
She'll brainwash people into buying her fragrances on adverts.
Oh man.
Imagine.
Jesus. Big. This one's probably gonna hit you real close to home, right? Talking about Battlefield 5.
Raw. I thought you were about to say something else.
No.
I was like,
Nigeria will never win the World Cup.
Fam. Okay.
Especially if Big's at the helm. They'll never win it.
Obviously,
my countrymen, don't listen to them.
My countrymen.
I can't even talk, man.
My people.
The reveal trailer came out last week, right?
It did.
I didn't watch the actual live stream reveal. I know I got lazy, but I did watch the 2 minute, minute trailer, right? And the reveal trailer, in my opinion, I think it was a little bit whack. Mainly because...
See, the thing is, everyone else has been saying that. like a lot of reviews online have been like, especially like Westy and Level Cap. They've been like, it's not a trailer that you would want to see at an actual launch. It's more of a trailer you'll see just before the games come out, just at a different angle. Type of thing. Carry on.
No. So I was gonna say the main reason for that being is because they tried to swindle you a little bit. Now, what I mean by that is they got this like cinematic scene going on where it's like, okay, this is obviously not gameplay. It's a cinematic trailer, and it shows some weird stuff. You got a I think it's a female soldier, but she's got like a robotic arm. Looks like it, or like a not like a robotic arm.
It's a
I think it's like a hook.
Prosthetic,
it's a hook.
prosthetic limb. Right, she's got some like claw on or whatever. And it goes from
on some Captain Hook shit.
Yeah, it goes right. It goes from like it goes from like what looks like a team kind of story mode, kind of sequence where they're shooting the enemy, whatever, running through houses, to it switches to like kind of a guy jumps out of a window, you know, loads of tanks come out of nowhere, and then it goes straight to multiplayer gameplay. Now, the reason,
sounds like a Michael Bay movie.
now the reason why it kind
It starts off with a guy jumping out a window.
right, and the reason why I kind of
Like
I'm
Kermit Smith.
kind of like, wait a minute, what's going on?
I'm going to commit suicide.
Oh, what a stitch.
It was a really bad like explanation of what's shown in the reveal. Go watch the reveal, people. Like you'll see what I mean. And it's just a multiplayer, and that's the part where my eyes kind of opened and my brain started working, because they show what looks like kind of like a UI or like a HUD, a HUD. So you get like the score on the top, the tickets, what they call the Battlefield. You got the map, which you can barely see what the map looks like. You've got like your health bar, you've got your ammo, but like all that to me doesn't look very good. It just looks kind of like a placeholder kind of thing. But what's happening in the scene, so what's happening in all the explosions or whatever, doesn't really look like it's reflecting on the HUD very well. So like people dying, the tickets aren't really matching up with that. Like where the guy's going on the map doesn't really look like it matches up to the gameplay. So what it looks like to me, it feels like they've kind of just made this kind of false sense of what the multiplayer is going to be like with all the craziness going on. But it's actually not real gameplay. That's what it looks like to me. That's the reason why I don't like the trailer. What do you think, Big? What do you think?
With that, like, I get the point of view, like, but I feel that they just wanted to make it look pretty.
Yeah.
But obviously they revealed it to say that, yeah, okay, cool. This is just a confirmation of it's going to be in World War II. Expect this, but don't just take it for face value in it. Like, they obviously will release some gameplay footage and show you how the game is actually going to be played at. But I feel it's just like okay, guys, this is what we're working on. Give us another couple of months and we'll show you how it actually plays.
I kind of feel like that's a poor decision on their part, because hear me out. Why? Because they have a history of making games. It's not like they're new to this, and I think considering the time, how far from now then to when the game's coming out, they should have known better. Like, yes, we understand, yes, cinematics, blah blah blah, but it's like for the most part, the game isn't going to look like that. And also, when you have no idea of what the game, when you have a very bad idea,
I think they did that same tactic.
Not a good look, because you're like, oh, it makes it seem like you don't actually know what you're doing.
Yeah, I think they did the same thing with Star Wars. Well, I think one of their first trailers. I think it was the first one where it wasn't really.
That's right.
Yeah, so they made it look really pretty, and then when you came to playing, it was like, yeah, this wasn't how you showed it to be.
Yeah, it's very similar to BioShock Infinite. If anyone ever played that, they had the whole, you had like the little kind of like, I guess, air train lines you can go on to and fly around in BioShock Infinite. And the trailer that they showed, when it came to actually playing the game, there was very similar elements to that, but there was nothing.
I remember that. It was all very fluid, and there was like powers that weren't in the actual game and stuff like that.
Yeah, right. And they got in trouble. They basically got in trouble saying that games companies, they're not allowed to, when they're doing a cinematic trailer, a gameplay trailer, they're not allowed to like just create a level just based to showcase that. They have to. The level has to be in the
It's
game.
false advertisement, isn't it? You can't do that.
Right.
False advertisement. But again,
because people are buying it on the pretense that this is, especially because it's a trailer, you're expecting more.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you don't get
that's how you get a bad
like,
reputation. People will not trust you.
Yeah, like No Man's Lie.
No Man's Lie.
Yeah, same thing happened with Watch Dogs, and the same thing happened with Aliens Cloning All Marine.
Oh, Watch Dogs.
Still not over
Ubisoft. Hello Games.
PG.
They should get in trouble for that because
that game, man.
It's not fair.
The thing is, Watch Dogs mechanically was an amazing game, but Jesus Christ, the pure fact that the absolute lies.
Right. Also, as well with Battlefield 5, the squads have gone down from 5 to 4. So unfortunately, we can't have a 5th man anymore. I'm sorry, Isabel.
Oh, is it 4 man? Is it?
Yeah. It's 4 man now. And also as well,
That's a bit mad.
It's World War II. I'm not big on history myself. Like I don't study history like everybody else does, but I saw in the the trailer and that I think a guy had a katana sword on his back, but I'm pretty sure he was like a British soldier. I don't know. It looked weird. I think.
That makes sense.
Right.
You're gonna get those people that are like, "Oh, that's not historically correct."
Right. I think that's the key. That's the case right now. And so I think they can definitely do well with it. I've never played a Battlefield game where I'm like, oh, this game is absolutely ass, I'm not buying it, or this game is so crap, I'm going to sell it. Like, I've never had that happen, but with this false advertising by the looks of it, or at least with this craziness they got going on, where they try to portray one thing, but it seems to be a different thing, I don't think that's a good start. Let's just say that, right?
Yeah.
All they did was just like, so your health bar is no longer in the top left corner, if I remember.
Yeah.
No, bottom left corner. It's in the middle, just below. And they've just changed the actual like layout. It looks cleaner though, but still.
It seems like they might have just done a UI change for the game, and then that's it.
Yeah. It just looks polished, but.
Let me get started on this. So, I loved Battlefield 1, yeah. I played it a bunch. I was really looking forward to this, yeah. Like you guys saw, I put it in the group chat when it was starting, like this live stream, all of that.
Yeah.
Like, all right, cool. It's like whatever it was, 8 o'clock, whatever, cool. Tune in to YouTube to their live stream. I even subscribed to them, so I wouldn't miss it. Comes to 8 o'clock, with a countdown for 60 minutes.
Countdown for 60 minutes.
They told you to tune in and wait for an hour until they start this little event. I was like, so all right, so that's number one. That got me mad. I was like, all right, whatever. I'll come back an hour later. For some reason, they hired Trevor Noah to do this panel because apparently Trevor Noah is famous for playing Battlefield.
I can't lie, he has some punchlines.
Look, he's a good host, isn't it? He's a good presenter. He's a good host. But I don't think Battlefield. I think Trevor Noah. Like they hyped it around him so much. Like had him do the little tease where he sips from his V mug.
Yeah. Why he's just there, just chopping man up. Yeah.
All of this was just so vexing.
Because when Shumo told me about the live stream thing, he was like, "Oh, it's going on at whenever. Let's just say 8 o'clock. It's going on at 8." I went to him. You know what, I'm gonna give it a miss because I felt like because of things, I was like, this is gonna be so dead.
Man. Not only that, like this came off the back of the Black Ops event, which was pretty decent. And Battlefield has a history of coming out and outshining them usually.
Yeah. Like
in terms of trailers and new features and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then they just released this weird
garbage.
This weird trailer.
You think they'll go more in depth in it in E3?
Well, yeah, this is what I was going to say was annoying me because the information that they did provide was so vague, and the answer was, "Oh, but we'll show you more of that in E3." So basically, this was an announcement about an announcement. It's like there's no point.
This links to what I was saying before, saying that they're a company that knows how to do stuff. Like Shumo said, they've usually outshined Call of Duty. I actually momentarily got hyped for Call of Duty That's how you know they fucked up.
Look, and you know why it is? It's because they're Swedish. There's something wrong with the Swedes, bro. I'm telling you,
DJ Ags, if you're listening to this, we're talking about you.
isn't it?
It's all in the meat.
Oh man.
But yeah, like no, for me, this game is 100% not buy ever. I'm waiting for Battlefield 6.
Nah. I'm excited for Battlefield 5.
I want to see the actual announcement that they're supposed to give us.
Yeah.
We want to know what the game is.
Yeah, like because they mentioned
Jason.
big. What was it called? It's Grand Operations now, isn't it?
Yeah, Grand Operations.
Yeah, and they've made it seem like it's like this big massive event that spans over a few weeks or whatever, or a couple months that everybody kind of chips into.
Yeah,
but
so it's like
nobody has any idea of what it kind of looks like, and you can't get a grip of it because it was just like a one-liner.
You know what I think it'll be? I think it'll be Clash of Clans.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay. So you see, you have Clan Wars, right? So they last on for like a 24 hours space. So I think they'll probably do like a day-to-day. So you'll pick your you'll pick factions. Yeah, you pick your faction, and a faction would fight another faction, and then when the collective numbers would win.
Okay, is it sort of like the same system? I know, Pete, because I know.
No, but that's not info. That's what I'm thinking. It.
Yeah, because I was going to say, are you saying it's very similar to? And I know PG Shumo will know about this. You know, Mortal Kombat, where you pick a faction. Is it that type of thing that he's on about?
Well, yeah, nobody has any idea because they didn't explain it.
Yeah, they didn't explain it, but that's my 2 cents.
But that's what you're guessing it might be.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I feel you now.
Similar games. There's Mortal Kombat faction. Basically, you choose a faction.
For Honor does it as well.
For Honor does it. You've got what's the other game? PlanetSide 2. If anyone's ever played PlanetSide 2, PlanetSide 2 does it.
Nah.
There's plenty of other games. If you haven't played PlanetSide 2, by the way, Big, you should definitely play it. It's super fun. You can get it on PS4. We'll play it one day. It's pretty awesome. But staying on topic with Battlefield, my last thing I want to mention is I saw some tweets about a new game mode called Airborne. And with Airborne, essentially, it's like an attacking and a defending team. The attacking team, they enter the map by parachute, so they jump out of a plane or whatever, or battle bus if you're Fortnite. You parachute all the way down to the land, and you have to take out these artillery, like artillery cannons or whatever, right? So it's kind of like a push and hold or attack and defend kind of game mode, which I don't think has ever been done that way in Battlefield. I don't think you've ever had to like all jump out of a plane or start out of like one little bunker and spread out to try and attack all these different objectives. It's very similar. Sounds like very similar to Rush in a way, because obviously in Rush, you take out the objectives and you push forward. Take out the objectives and you push forward. But the aerial assault, that might spark a little bit more kind of fun to it, a bit more World War II, I guess is what they're trying to go for. I know that fart didn't really.
Oh no! I said that was my thoughts on it.
I thought you actually farted. Oh man.
Oh no. And I can.
No, you don't. I'm sitting right next to you. Don't even
Hey, I've been holding mine in for the longest, man. My belly's hurting.
All the microphones just blow up because of you.
And they also talked about individual progression trees. Now, Battlefield, they normally do class kind of progression trees. Soldier, medic, sniper, engineer, whatever. And you unlock through that class, and then you get the different weapons to kind of support that class. Or if you're a baller, you can just pay money and just fast track all that shit. I think with individual progression trees, I'm not too sure what they really mean by that. But I'm guessing if you choose a gun, you just progress with the gun rather than the class. I guess that's what they mean. Does anybody know what they mean by individual?
I think that
sounds like what it is. Like that's how Call of Duty do their thing.
Yeah. I don't know if that's a good step or a bad step. I think it's just a unnecessary step. I feel like Battlefield's always been, you choose a class, and if you're good with that class, you unlock better stuff with that class. There's no need for it to be now you have to play every single gun or every single person, But I think they're also going to go with a very similar like Black Ops kind of thing, where you get this different specialist classes. Or if anyone's played World War II, you get like the different what are they called? I think they're called outfits. I think they're called where you get like different progression for that different class or whatever else. So I think they're gonna go for a similar thing with Call of Duty. That's Battlefield 5. Really, does anybody want to add anything to Battlefield 5?
No.
Before we move on?
No, sorry.
Oh, fair enough, man. Battlefield 5. We're looking forward to E3 to show us what's going on.
What dates are coming out? The
October something. The 12th is Call of Duty.
Oh, then it's the 6th. No, the 26th. No.
I think it's 26.
No, that's Red
That's
Dead.
Red Dead. Oh,
Red
yeah,
Dead's
okay.
November.
Sorry, say that again, Shooms.
Red Dead's November, I thought.
I'll quickly have a look.
No, Red Dead. I remember it's the day after my birthday. Actually, no, that might actually be.
Well, I'll take a look at it before we finish.
19th of October.
19th of
Oh, there you go. Make sure you miss the 19th of October. Forget that date altogether.
Wow. Enemy of progress.
Right, moving off from guns blazing to a bit more kind of nostalgia. Pokemon are releasing a new game called Pokemon Let's Go. They got 2 editions coming out for the Switch. It's called Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu or Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. And essentially what they're doing is they're remaking Pokemon Yellow for the Switch with new updated kind of graphics and gameplay. With this, they're both going to be launching, both top titles are going to be launching in November 16th. And essentially all you do with the different titles is you get different starter Pokemon. You know how you get like the different, you get like, oh no, what is it? Pokemon Crystal, Pokemon Dark, Pokemon Light or something, right? You get different Pokemons, and with each game it's similar, pretty much the same game. It's just like you get different starter Pokemon or you get different legendary Pokemon. Very similar. The new stuff that they added, which makes me pretty excited, is that players will be able to trade Pokemon and battle other players, which I know they do that with the new stuff, but you've never been able to do it with Pokemon Yellow, so that's awesome. And they're also going to be adding a new catch system, and they kind of explain it being reminiscent to Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go, you know, you find a Pokemon and you have to like use your finger to swipe the Pokeball, and it has to flip over and land on the Pokemon's head. Boom, you catch it. It's very similar to that. Apparently going to be using the Switch controls to kind of use that. I don't know how, but
The Joy-Cons are motion controls.
that's it. Joy-Con. There you go. See, I told you, shoes, man. got that knowledge. And then the last thing, which is definitely super duper exciting for me, is they add 2-player co-op. Now, I haven't played Pokemon in a very long time. I'm a big Pokemon fan, but I don't think we've ever had a co-op Pokemon before. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think we ever had a co-op Pokemon before. That's 2-player.
Yeah, nothing where you're with somebody side by side.
Yeah, not like a traditional game where
Right.
you can co-op. Yeah, I don't think so.
So, with that all being said, Pokemon, basically Pokemon Go is just a remake of Yellow with some Pokemon Go touch features, which apparently is going to be 2-player co-op. What do you guys think? Streams, I'm going to let you go first because you're the Switch guy. You're a Nintendo Switch guy, so go first.
So I woke up to all the Pokemon news when the day they announced it or whatever. They announced it in Japan, so it got announced overnight.
Yeah.
They had a big, like, I think it was like a 48-minute press conference for it. Yeah. I'm watching this event. It's a load of old Japanese guys dressed in black. They're in an all-black room. That's all you can see. You can just see black. You can see the podium where the guy's talking, and you can see the screen. Now, when you think of Pokemon, you think of color, you think of like joyful, you think of happy. These guys were so monotone and depressing; it was unbelievable. It was like a funeral.
Maybe they're just tired.
Wow.
It was like a funeral.
Maybe you know, just having problems with their wives at home, and you know.
What?
Like,
So let's
Leave
decorate.
that out. Bring it to the Kanto region, bruv.
But that aside, anyway. So I'm watching it. So yeah, like you were saying, this is a Pokemon Yellow like remix with Pokemon Go elements. This is coming out in November, but there is a more traditional line title coming out next year, which is what they announced at the very beginning of their thing. One thing you missed as well, they're also launching a special controller for it as well.
Oh, I did not know that.
Which is a Pokeball with like a joystick on it.
Have they released the pictures of that?
Yeah, like it's in the videos for it. And and basically you like do like a hand motion or whatever, like you're throwing, and it'll act as though you're throwing the Pokeball when you're catching things or whatever.
Wait,
You
so
can
will
move
that be
around a bit or whatever.
separate? Is this to code the Switch?
Yeah, it's for the Switch. It's a separate thing. You have to buy it separately.
Do you need that, or is it just?
No, you don't need it.
It's just a bit of fun, really.
Yeah.
Okay.
Once you see it, you get an idea of what it does, and you
Yeah, I kind of get it.
these children are going to throw it through their TV.
It has a safety handle.
Yeah.
You already know.
It's like, Mom, I'm sorry, I was trying to catch a Raichu.
What is the fun of that?
What,
It's
the
like,
safety strap?
it's like the Wii stick thing again.
Oh, trust
The
me,
amount of
so
times
many
that
broken
almost
TVs.
flew. Oh my god.
That's exactly what's going to happen again. But yeah, I'm a little bit on the fence about it because I'm a bit annoyed that the wild the wild Pokemon that you find, you can't fight them. You just catch them.
Yeah.
You can fight trainers, but there's been no mention of like gym battles or whatever. But there's very clearly some sort of story in it. I'll pick it up, I guess, as like a stopgap to like the next game. It is a bit weird, but at the same time, they also announced a little mobile game called Pokemon Quest, which was out that day for the Switch. It's a free-to-play game. Well, they called it free to start, which I've never heard. But it's a free-to-play game. It's like a little. It's like a little. I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like a little baby Diablo.
Wow.
Okay.
And yeah, it's pretty entertaining. It's got like cool. It's got like. I don't know how to explain it. So you know, like these mobile games, you can play a certain number of times, and then you've got to wait.
Yeah.
Until you can play again. It's got like that sort of mechanics, but they're not very. Like they're not aggressive with it. It's very easy to earn like the currency in it and just pay off like for recharges and stuff.
Yeah.
Me and little Gary have been playing it quite a bit over the last few days. It's pretty entertaining. It's a good little time waster, and it's coming to mobile I think next month maybe or whatever.
Is that iOS or Android? Or do you know?
I think it's both.
Cool.
But yeah, for now, for the moment, it's only on the Switch. But I wanted to ask you, would this game make you want to get a Switch?
Ooh, this game alone?
No.
No.
I think the Switch waste of time. It's just the Switch is just. I think it's just. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm
Have you had any experience with the Switch?
No, but I have. I mean, I'm still in love with my little Game Boy Advance SP. So I can't.
OG
so I can't.
crew.
I
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
let go. A Switch to me is just so pointless. I don't know. I just don't understand. I just don't get it. I mean, I had a DS, and that was enough for me. Like, because it could take cartridge and it could take, the new DS games
Yeah,
or
because
whatever.
this is obviously getting rid of. This is what we were talking about. It gets rid of using those things.
That's the thing. I just think. I don't know. I don't think it'd be enough for me to get one. To be honest.
What I can say is that it's a good stepping stone, because now you have kind of the major Nintendo titles. You have a lot of major Nintendo titles coming out on the Switch. Like, my major reason why I didn't get a Switch when it first came out, because I was like, yo, there's not enough games, man.
Yeah, it was also Super Mario
Yeah,
games,
that's
wasn't
what I
it?
was saying.
It was just,
I was saying like there's not enough games out for me to
No,
want
there
one, and there
wasn't.
isn't one game that would be like I would be
No.
like, yes, this is why I'm getting one. Like, there are a few games that I do want to play, but even this alone, like this game alone, the pure fact that like it's not exactly what I'm expecting. Like, because obviously you hear remake of Pokemon Yellow, you're like, oh yeah, I get to walk around and then I get to do the whole I get to try and capture the wild Pokemon. Like, oh, I get to fight wild Pokemon. It's like the fact that I don't get to is just
it
like,
just
oh.
ruins it.
Yeah, it's like,
There's
because
no
I'm
point.
assuming it's the same sort of structure where it's like you pick your starter, you train it up, and then you go to the gyms and do all of that stuff. I'm assuming.
It will always be the same
I think
concept,
your
but what?
starter in this game is dependent on which game you get. So if you get
Yeah.
Pikachu, your starter is Pikachu. If you get Eevee, your starter is Eevee.
But I'm assuming it's like the same gym battle stuffs.
Well, it wasn't mentioned, or you couldn't see any
that's
of it
even more reason
in
not
the
to.
trailer.
Yeah.
Have they mentioned an online mode?
They have
Well, there's the
mentioned-
2-player co-op, innit?
They have mentioned 2-player co-op. They have also mentioned local
Co-op is the co-op that they showed though was couch co-op.
Yeah, so it was local, right? But they also did mention some
fair
Wi-Fi
enough.
features.
The Switch is portable, so that's not too much of an
Yeah,
issue.
they did mention some Wi-Fi features. I don't know what Wi-Fi functionality they're going to particularly have. If that's only just trading, or if it's just battling, I'm not too sure. But they did say they're going to have Wi-Fi on local play.
One thing there was as well though. It looks like there's a lot of benefits to tying it to Pokemon Go if you're playing Pokemon Go on your phone. You can trade Pokemon to and from via Bluetooth.
Really?
Okay.
From Switch to your phone, from the phone to your Switch or whatever. So if you're playing Pokemon Go on your phone out and about or whatever, you can get them Pokemon and put them on the game.
Okay, that's good.
Watch everybody start playing Pokemon Go now.
I was gonna say.
It died so quickly.
I'm pretty sure it's getting, because of this, it's getting a little bit more buzz, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Has anybody actually gone onto the phone to just load that game up again? I actually did that last week.
No, I played it. I think I played it for 2 days when I first got it, and then I was like, oh, I actually have to move. So no.
No, that's why you got to cheat. Because remember when we used to roll around in a car, like all of 4 or 5 of us, just roll around.
But didn't they stop that feature?
They did.
I think there's an update to stop that feature.
Oh yeah, you couldn't.
Yeah, like they wouldn't count towards your distance. That was dastardly. They should have left that in.
Right.
Yeah, my house.
Let me cheat, man.
I will say though, after the announcement, Nintendo's stock price rose by 10%, so it is a positive.
Say again?
Say again?
After the announcement, Nintendo's stock price raised by 10%.
Oh, it raised? Oh, I thought you said... Oh, my God. I thought you said lowered.
No, it went up. So it is a positive for them.
Yeah, nice.
I think it'll be successful, but but for me personally, unless there's particular things that I want from it, I won't be.
I feel like you don't like Nintendo games though.
No, the thing is, it's not that I don't like them, but it's just the fact of...
You don't like them?
No, because it's not that I don't. It's just the fact of my interest in Nintendo just died off naturally from the last Nintendo thing I had.
I was gonna say
the last thing I had was a Wii, but that doesn't really count
same.
because the Wii was. I think we can agree the Wii was kind of dead.
Yeah.
I think the Wii was awesome, man. But what was the last
Wii
thing?
had
For a
good
while,
games.
yeah.
You need to stop with the lies.
For a while, it was. I guess it was the whole.
Red Steel had potential.
Red Steel. No,
Red Steel was dope.
Damn.
But my last thing was a DS, and the reason why I ended up falling out with Nintendo was just because my personal time was more preoccupied with being on a console or PC.
What was the last?
Nintendo.
And usually when I'm
What was the last Nintendo game you played though? I mean, completely.
Nintendogs don't lie. It was
Pokemon. It was Pokemon Pearl.
Pokemon Pearl.
On the DS.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the last thing I remember playing, and I'm pretty sure I completed it, but that was
I
it.
think I played Spyro, the DS version,
Ooh, Spyro.
which I didn't like.
The thing is, I would like.
I
There
don't like that
are a
very
lot of
much.
games that I would get for a Switch. Most of the reason why I haven't got a Switch is because I don't really have the money for it right now.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
I would like if I got a Switch today, the games I would want would be Mario Kart,
Yeah.
Can't go wrong with that.
Mario
That's
Odyssey,
the only thing I think of though when I think of
Breath of the
Nintendo.
Wild,
Yeah.
Mm.
and if I had a Switch, I would probably get the Monster Hunter that's coming to it.
Yeah, what's that about? Like, I can't imagine that happening.
So the Switch is basically like a little
I don't-
like controller
I
with a
can't see
screen in
it.
the middle.
I can't see it. I find that
It'll
that
definitely
really
work.
strange. Do you think? I
Yeah.
don't know.
You can't see what?
I don't know.
Just Monster Hunter working on a Switch.
I feel like it's a big game, and I feel like it needs.
You're thinking of it differently. So it won't be like Monster Hunter World. It'll be like how the old Monster Hunter games were. And Monster Hunter has been, like Nintendo has been the only place where you could get Monster Hunter games since Wii.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they've always kind of been on it. It's not going to be like Monster Hunter World though. Monster Hunter World was a step up.
Yeah, I guess that's. I've never played the old one, so I guess that's probably why I'm basing it on that.
So yeah, it's not that I don't like Nintendo games. It's just the fact of most of my childhood was based on playing everything, pretty much anything more relevant but Nintendo.
And before we move on to the next topic, I'm gonna kind of put you guys all on the spot here, right? I'm gonna start with you, Big, because I'm gonna make sure that you're awake and alive.
Wow.
Yeah, don't fall asleep again.
Wow.
Name me 5 Pokemon. And by the way, guys, you can't name the same 5 that the previous person just did.
Shit.
Okay.
Big, you can go first. I'll give you the benefit of that going first.
You got Snorlax.
Okay.
You got.
Of course you'll say that first when you.
You were gonna call him fat.
Snorlax.
Hey, I'm big bold.
Big bone.
Snorlax, Pikachu, obviously. Squirtle,
Yeah.
No,
Sorry.
That's a
Did
girdle.
you just say girdle?
No, it's a girdle.
what? Hey, you don't need to get a wax
Start
out your
again,
ears.
bro.
Man.
Get the alcohol out your mouth. I know you're still drinking.
Okay. So you've got Snorlax, you've got Pikachu, you've got Charizard, you've got Raichu, and you've got Mew.
Oh, you even say Squirtle, man. All right, cool. That's
No, it's Gertle.
I'll go last actually. So Shumo, you next. You go next.
Oh, I can't remember the ones he said, so I don't know which ones are what. All right, let's go. Butterfree,
Yeah.
Bellsprout, Beedrill,
Yup.
Bulbasaur,
Yeah.
and
I guess she's
Jinx.
googling Pokemon right next to
Oh my days.
you. You lost
Wow.
immediately.
Wow.
What happened?
You'll be able. You'll think of 5.
I'll make up 5.
Wow.
I don't even care.
You got one more, Shumo. You got one more.
One more.
Yeah.
I said Jinx.
Oh, sorry. We only got to 4. Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah. Go on, Sleep. Go next.
Jigglypuff,
Yep.
Clefairy.
Yep.
I said Jigglypuff.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't, bro.
You said Gertle.
I swear that I said Jigglypuff.
You did not
You
say
did not say
Jigglypuff.
Jiggly. How do you not remember your 5? You only have to remember 5.
It's so waved.
Fine then, I'll do a whole different 5 then. Okay, so you got Feraligatr. You got Onyx.
Hey, Onyx.
You got Kyogre.
Yeah.
You got Rayquaza.
Cheese.
And then
Don't
you
even
got
sound
Dragonair.
Okay.
Okay.
Celeste, you're up.
Sabelle.
Celeste.
If it was Celeste, that would be awkward.
Sorry. I apologize. I'm terrible with names.
You better have a girlfriend that listen to this, because oh boy.
No, you know what it is. Let me explain
5
myself.
seconds, they should be like, oh.
Let me explain.
Alright,
No, I'm gonna hold that one.
don't hate me. Alright, okay. Lamborghini, Toyota.
Lamborghini.
Whoa.
Get out!
You just said Lamborghini on Twitter.
Go from whence you came.
Whoa.
Rajashot.
Are you sure this is Celeste?
Coffee.
Oh, is it Spring Island Coffee? She means Weeping Bell.
Right.
And
You could do one. At least do one. We literally mentioned one.
what's that fat purple one? With the wings.
Malachi.
Yeah.
Oh,
Done. There's my Pokemon.
Good lord.
Oh wait, I forgot Ling Ling. That's the last one.
Right. My.
You're not a Pokemon.
My,
Stop. Let me include myself in the list.
Yeah, but it's got to catch them all, but nobody wants to catch you.
Oh,
She's the yellow Pokemon.
why are you starting? I'm not that yellow. It's just a. It's
You
just
even
a
said in
tint.
the car, "Oh, Rob, yellow today."
Yeah, but it's just a little highlight.
Peach, what's your 5, mate?
my 5 or Geodude.
Yay.
Machop? Is it Machop?
Mhm.
What?
Yeah.
Machop.
Yeah. Ditto. I don't think anyone said that. Tangela. And Blastoise. I don't think anyone said that.
Yeah.
Sorry, what was the last one?
Blastoise.
Blastoise. He's got 2 cannons on his back. He's pretty awesome. He's pretty warm.
The cannon.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. Yeah.
He's
So,
related to Girl.
there you go, guys. That was our
And then related to his cousin who's in Vietnam, War Girl.
Well, Girl. Yeah.
All right, that's our Pokemon. Let's go. Let's move on to. I want to kind of talk about controllers, right? Xbox released what they call the adaptive controller. It's kind of like the best way to picture it. Imagine it's kind of like a fight stick in a way. It has 2 kind of circular pads on the top of it, and a few buttons down the side, like the Xbox buttons. You've got A, B, the D-pad, and whatnot. And I think it's supposed. I don't remember what exactly the disability it's supposed to be for. Or it's supposed to.
Oh, I do.
Oh, you do? Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. It's basically for people who, okay, it covers a very broad surface. So I'm just gonna name just the thing, but basically it's for people who have trouble with really fine motor skills.
Okay.
Because I've seen it and used it actually before. At Insomnia, yeah, because I saw it there. And it's for people who basically have trouble with fine motor skills. Because obviously fine motor skills is being able to just adjust your thumbs and stuff like that. This you use your whole hand.
What about people who don't have?
Well, they can use it too, because that's the reason why that's why it's so large and circular.
Really good.
Because I've seen them use this for driving games.
Yeah, it's about time.
Yeah. The thing is as well, like there's a disabled player, Street Fighter player. He goes by the alias Broly Legs. He actually can't really use his hands, right? So he actually plays a lot with like his chin, right? And it's just insane. You know, it's insane. He plays with his chin and like his tongue and stuff, and he's like rated one of the top Chong Elite players in the world.
What?
Like this guy is like, he's been in tournaments and stuff like that. Like he's pretty well renowned for playing. He's in a wheelchair most of the time. He can't use his hands, and he's able to play like Street Fighter, right?
That's really cool.
So like basically my kind of questions are, and I kind of want to talk about like the evolution of controllers here. Like my main question kind of is like, can you see these type of things happening with like all games consoles now? And basically what I mean is, so you had like the arcade stick, you know, the buttons, a bit like the Atari, whatever. You go from just the D-pad and the buttons on that, and then you go from like analog sticks, right? And then you've got like the Joy-Con on the Nintendo Wii, Nintendo Switch, sorry. And then now you've got like I don't know if you guys have seen Nintendo Labo. It's kind of like the two Joy-Cons with cardboard, and you can count the different. Basically, based on what you're trying to make with the cardboard, you can kind of connect the Switch into that and play a game a different way. If you haven't seen Nintendo Labo, I recommend you check it out. It's pretty awesome. Makes like gaming look kind of unorthodox and a bit awesome at the same time. My question is basically, can you see with Xbox being like being as big as it is, Microsoft being as big as it is, and they're saying, "Oh, this is our adaptive controller." Can you see it now coming out for PlayStation? Do you think Sony will make an adaptive controller too?
I hope so. There's a really good charity out there called, I think it's called Able Gamers, and they like specialize in this kind of stuff. So they make like extra add-on peripherals for like disabled gamers. I remember I went to one of their booths. I think it was at EGX Res or something like that. One of those expos, and there was a guy there. It was a kid who couldn't use his arms, but he plays Assassin's Creed with his feet.
I've seen that.
And, yeah, and like with the help of like some of the stuff that the charity had designed, like loads of people have been able to enjoy games. So it's good to show. It's good to see like someone like Microsoft, one of the big companies, come out and actually design one of these controllers, put research and development dollars into it, so that corner of the market can enjoy their games.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's always good when companies can be inclusive, because I think a lot of the times, and I think this is safe to say, considering this is one of, because they have certain different types of like keyboards and stuff in workplace for people who struggle with certain motor movements or stuff like that. They they'll do things for them. Like there's the whole speech recognition stuff for people who pretty much don't have use for their hands and stuff like that. But it's always good when they can start including people, because they have to remember that not every. And I think this is Xbox thing of like, oh, we do try and care about as many people as many people who play games as possible, because not everybody's able-bodied and is able to do fine movements like we are. And so I think there's nothing, no bad can come from this.
Yeah, it's true.
Might be expensive, but I think it is one of those things where you have to understand that, like, yeah, like you are, it is. You have to admit, you have to understand that it is a smaller market. It's a much more niche market.
I think released theirs once they've seen how well Xbox have done theirs. Or how Xbox have done theirs. So in the near future, I see it coming out from Sony.
Yeah, I mean, to kind of like wrap it all up and finish up on this topic, I feel like this is kind of I mean, we spoke about this a bit in the PlayStation 5. Sorry, in the kind of the E3 thing. It's kind of the direction in gaming's going, right? So now I feel like with technology today, we don't necessarily have to have bigger, better graphics or better, harder, faster systems. It's just the stuff that our systems can do now. So like you got the VR, right? You know, now you can play where you kind of locked in and stuff's flying around your face and stuff like that, right? And I feel like just stuff like, even stuff like crossplay, you know, being able to play with somebody, way back in the day, playing with people across the world was never a thing. Now it is. Now playing with people on different systems was never really a thing, but now it is, right? So I feel like this is kind of the next step for the development of gaming. It doesn't necessarily have to be just the games and the graphics and stuff. It can be the controllers or the people you can play with or the systems you can play with and against. I kind of feel like that's kind of the step or the direction, which even Xbox's adaptive controller can kind of like push that narrative out, if you know what I mean. I kind of think that's kind of going to be the next thing. But does anybody else want to add to that before we move on to the next topic?
No.
No? Cool. Yeah, pretty much did that one in the bud. Moving on to the next topic, games consoles remakes. And I kind of want to throw an example out. The Super Nintendo, the SNES even, made a little mini system. On the mini system, I believe there was 30 games on there, or if you want to be technical, 31. Ooh. And essentially, there's no game physical cartridge you put in. All of it's loaded onto the system, and it's just like a kind of like a little bit like an emulator in a way. You just play the popular SNES games that they've actually preloaded onto the system. And I believe there was a rumor going around that the PlayStation 1 might make a mini console. And also Atari is working on an Atari game console. I know for sure with the Atari game console, they're trying to bring out the old Atari joystick and I think it's the one button on the actual joystick, and then they're also going to be shipping out a Atari controller, a bit like a PlayStation or Xbox controller. And I kind of want to get you guys' thoughts on on these mini consoles. Do these mini consoles kind of catch your eye? Because I've actually had the chance of playing on these Super Nintendo Mini. I actually had the chance to play on it, and it's good fun. Obviously you can't play every single game. There's only 30 plus games on there, so it was good fun for what it was. I don't know if it's the right direction that, say, every system needs it. So we don't need an Xbox Mini, or we don't need a PlayStation 2 Mini, you know what I mean? But do you guys, if say PlayStation 1 Mini was to come out, would you guys think about getting it? Or what games would you like to be on there?
It depends what games are on there, really.
Yeah.
I mean, if the Lara Croft ones, if they're on there, then yeah.
Yeah.
Then how? I don't know.
How
mini is mini?
The SNES was probably was it? I don't think it was much larger than a.
Wait, is it going to be? Is it going to be?
They are very small.
A proper handheld console.
No, it's not a handheld thing.
It's
not handheld, but it's one of the things it's basically like plug in and play. It's very tight. It's super small.
Does it come? Is it or not?
No, so you plug it into you plug it into a screen like this.
Oh, all right.
It's about the same I guess you could say length as a PlayStation game case. A PlayStation game case. That's probably kind of how.
Oh right.
How. Yes, it'll be like this big.
It's just got. So, would you be able to get it? So, could you choose your games that you want? Or is it just going to come with?
They'll come pre. But there are ways that you probably be able to switch.
Well, it wouldn't have an online feature though, would it? Obviously.
No, because the PS1 wasn't doing online back then.
How would you? I don't know.
So with the Super Nintendo, the Mini that they came out with, they charged I believe it was like 70 quid. I think it was.
And something like that.
Essentially, what it is, it's like you plug your controller in the front, and it's HDMI in the back of it, so it can be put on any modern TV. And you when you boot the system up, essentially it shows you a massive library of all the games you can play in it. And when you press to play on it, it just loads the game up, and you can save it. So you can save that particular game at that particular point, and then obviously you can close that game and go back onto another game if you wanted to. That's kind of how the Super Nintendo worked. The Mini, worked.
Yeah, that came with 2 controllers as well, and they were proper SNES controllers.
Yeah, they were. So that was awesome.
What game? So, what game would you guys want on if PlayStation brought a Mini?
Crash Bandicoot would be fun.
Oh yeah.
Lara Croft would be
Crash. Spyro.
I mean, we just got the Crash remaster though, and Spyro's coming.
That's true.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
But I think even still, just for nostalgia
came
reasons,
out
I think it would still be good.
Definitely.
on PS4 on PS1?
Say that again.
What Dragon Ball Z game came out on PS1? Was it
There was Ultimate Battle 22, and there was another one called Bout, which wasn't very good at all.
What about Rayman? Was Rayman out on the PS1?
Oh,
Yeah, Rayman was on the PS1.
Rayman PS1.
banger.
Rayman was pretty awesome to play.
It sounds weird, but I would like the original Gran Turismo just because I had a lot of fun playing that when I was a kid. I won't lie.
Did anybody ever play a game called Driver?
Yeah.
Driving game.
Or Crazy Taxi. Oh no, Crazy Taxi was PS2.
It was actually Dreamcast. Crazy Taxi was.
Yeah, and
What?
PS2,
What?
yeah.
Yeah, and PS2.
Oh,
Was it Worms?
PS2?
Worms. Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
Worms, yeah.
Worms. Oh,
I remember
yeah.
everyone was obsessed with that game.
Worms was sick though.
Never
Did anyone
understood
have-
it. Never
They don't
understood
have Lemmings.
Lemmings.
Yeah, I heard of Lemmings. I never played it, but I heard of it.
Lemmings.
Was that any good?
Yes.
Yeah, it's cool.
Was it? Isn't it one of those things where like you lead a pack basically?
You kind of have to keep them alive and make them.
Yeah,
navigate
because
the
lemmings
world.
have suicidal tendencies.
Yeah, you kind of have to like. They're like little puzzle stages. You need to like find a way to build stuff around them to get them safely to the end.
I'm trying
Cool.
But I'd really like Ape Escape.
Oh, Ape Escape. Oh,
I used to love that game.
I played Ape Escape 2 on
And
PS4 recently. It's awesome.
and Nightmare Creatures. That was a game. That was a really cool like horror action game,
Yeah.
which they're actually bringing back. It was announced last year, I think, and we've heard nothing of it. But it's apparently coming back.
Hopefully E3 will show it out.
Medieval was my favorite game on the PS1.
Abe's Odyssey has to be mine, man. Abe's Odyssey has to be my Odd World. That's a pretty good game. Yeah, that's all the PS1 games I can think of off the top of my head.
But yeah, there's also a rumor of an N64 mini coming this year. There's a load of like, patents and trademarks flying around.
Ooh.
Oh, wasn't Bomberman a PS1 game?
No, that was a Super Nintendo game.
It was on PS2.
Which
There was a Bomberman on PS2, but I'm not sure if there was one on PS1.
I'm not sure either. There was definitely one on the N64.
Yeah, there was definitely one on PS2. It was Bomberman.
Probably.
I forget, but it was sick. Bomberman. Oh my days, Bomberman was the thing.
Right. But yeah, so I didn't play the Atari very much, if not ever.
I'm pretty sure that came out. I feel like that came out before our time.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that was the 80s.
I know some games on there.
I'd like to play. I'd like to get an Atari just so I can get a taste of what I never got a chance to get
Who
to
made
play.
Atari?
This Atari thing is ridiculous.
Atari's the
They're,
Atari company, yeah.
they're trying to charge $200 for it.
Dude.
No.
And there's like some weird wording that sounds like there's some sort of subscription service that you need to buy into. on top of it.
What? This is sounding a lot like the Ouya.
Oh,
But
God.
yeah, but it's like a crowdfunded console, and it like reached its goal like immediately.
Mhm.
I have no idea how, because I don't know who would be excited for this really expensive old ass like Atari where they're just trying to milk.
Hipsters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's right.
God. Vegans.
Hey, no, don't get me started on vegans, man.
Uh-oh.
Don't get me started on vegans.
Uh-oh.
You corn. Nah, man.
Did I say
Co- co-
corn?
No, I said corn. Corn, like, you know, the corn foods that I just
Oh,
can't
That's
do.
alright, you know.
Hold on.
What?
I can't even lie. I had a Southern Fried Chicken corn nugget. I
Yeah.
won't lie.
What?
I did
Wow.
not. Hold on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Wow.
Yeah.
You said it already, boy.
No, try that
Hold
mince
on.
meat.
I tried
It's a-
because
it's a
my friend was like,
whole
"Oh, do you want to
different
try one?" And I was like, "You know what? It's not gonna kill me. Let me try it." And you know
Yeah,
what? It
yeah,
was
yeah.
actually decent. I won't lie.
Yeah.
But it's not chicken.
I mean, I know. I understood that whole pretense before I ate it because I knew she was vegan. So I was like, "What is this?"
I'm just saying.
But away from vegans.
Does anybody know any other? Oh, sorry, no. Better question. Is there any other systems you would like to be remade, or like a mini version, like a Dreamcast?
The only reason why I want to say no, like I don't think they need to do that, is because usually these consoles are pretty cheap nowadays.
Well, there is something that I've seen which is already out, which I keep looking at and I keep wanting to get. It's called a BitBoy, and it's got I think it's got 200 8-bit games on it, and it's like a little mini handheld console.
I think I've seen it before.
Is it? I think is it BitBoy or Bit? I think it's BitBoy. Yeah, you can't get it over here though.
Is it made? I think it might be made with the.
Oh yeah, I know what you're on about.
And it just looks so cool. Like it already comes with like 200 8-bit games, and 8-bit games are quite fun.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of something.
Yeah, it kind of looks like a Game Boy Color.
Yeah, but it's kind of worth it. But I don't know. I wouldn't. That's the only thing I'm interested in. But I don't think I want to see anything remade into a. Because is it really necessary?
Yeah,
like,
I know you mean.
Do you know what I mean?
It's
I mean, couldn't understand it. Like for people like my mom and dad, they grew up on like the older consoles, like the Super Nintendo or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's nice for them. Like they have it, they like it and stuff.
Yeah.
If you like us, where we're like those consoles were sort of past our time, before our time, kind of thing. It's good to go back if you like old games. Like I play like retro games sometimes and stuff, like things that I've missed and stuff that are like considered classics and stuff. But to what you were saying, Sleep, you can get the original consoles and stuff. Yeah, but the issue with that is, or I'd say a benefit of these newer ones is they're HDMI connected.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
You can have saves on them now as well. And they're not that expensive either. Like the
oh yeah, like the Retron 5 is like an example of what you're sort of talking about. Like it comes with loads of older stuff, like loads of older games, but it's the fact that it's
the Retron 5 is you still have to go out and buy the games. Like
oh yeah, but what I'm getting
Classic like comes with like 30 games and it was like only £50. The Super Nintendo one was, I think it was £70 or whatever, but it still comes with a load of games and stuff. By the time you go out and find those games like a physical cartridge, you're spending a lot of money anyway.
Yeah. I remember we were in sort of like in like a retro game store, and some of the like Sega Genesis cartridges, a bunch of like other cartridges are really expensive. Like they're the same price as like AAA games because they are
like
a vintage product.
On the Super Nintendo was still like £45.
No, it was like 60.
Oh, there you go then.
Yeah. So yeah, like these old cartridges somehow managed to retain money. Like obviously, yeah, you can just like you said, we can just put in buy an old like a USB controller like replica, and then we can just plug it into like into a PC, run an emulator, and get basically the same experience. But I see what you're saying.
I still buy cartridges. I still buy them for my SP and stuff. And you can get some really cheap ones. Like sometimes on eBay they go for like £4 or £5.
I mean, it's cool, but like I'd prefer if you want to resell them or whatever, bring them to the systems that we have now. Like all these Nintendo games, like Nintendo come out and said there's going to be no virtual console for Switch. Virtual console was their like marketplace where they sold their older titles and emulated it through their console. And they've said that there isn't going to be one for the Switch, which is really annoying because like the Switch is like the perfect console for like those older games.
Yeah.
Right. So, gonna push on to the next topic. And it's going to be our last topic for gaming. It's going to be the current state of portable gaming. So, Nintendo is like, I'd say it's pretty much on top for this. Obviously with the Switch, right? They pretty much nailed it on the coffin. Put the nail in the coffin, is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, the Switch, obviously, does it superb because you can take the Switch pretty much anywhere you want to go and play really good games. Well, for the most part, anywhere you want to play them. The question really is, do you think Nintendo has sparked some possible ideas for portable consoles or portable gaming, or do you think Nintendo is just so great, so dominant that no one else really should even try and step in their field?
Go on.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, so because this brings into the question of why Sony and Microsoft haven't brought out something portable, and it's not, and I don't think it's the case of, and I don't think it's the case of they feel that Nintendo just, even though they technically do own that market of like, oh yeah, the portable gamers, if you want to game portably, go to Nintendo. I think it's more of a case of, because obviously they're very comfortable in what they're doing, which is a console thing, and it's obviously something where you don't, it's not portable, you keep it at home, blah blah blah. I'm not too sure as to whether it would even be worth it for them like that, just because it's hard to get a lot of power behind something portable. Like if you start wanting to get something really powerful and portable, it will probably end up being like quite chunky. Like the Switch is like you were saying, the Switch is really good because of the fact it's very light. It was fairly light. It's pretty thin. And like you said, easily portable. The battery lasts 8 hours?
No, not that long. It doesn't.
Oh.
The battery isn't.
I thought it was advertised as 8 hours.
Look what happened with the PSP.
No.
The PSP
battery.
and the PSP. Then
Was just I hated that thing.
oh, hold on. Sorry. Excuse me. Ooh.
Yeah, the PSP was
Gesundheit.
like,
Thank you.
I think that was a waste of.
Yeah, like the
PSP was great. What
It
do
was-
you
it
mean?
was- it was-
What
was
you
good.
about?
I
The
don't know.
You're lost.
Jeez.
What kind of? You're lost in what kind of stew, man? What PSP bang?
PSP
Really?
The reason why the PSP was good was because it also had movies on it too. That
Yes.
was
Okay, at that time, that was
really
like,
good.
Yeah, I guess so, because tablets weren't really.
they weren't really a
They weren't really a thing,
and yeah,
were they?
laptops were a thing too. But like
yeah,
that,
but tablets, it was. I guess.
yeah,
okay.
like in that respect, because they showed
I think
movies as well.
I didn't
is what
like
made
it because of the tiny little disc things that used to
Yeah.
annoy me.
Yeah, but the thing is, what else at that point? What else could you do? Because everything
kind of
at that
like-
point, everything was disc-based.
Yeah, and it represented the actual
that's why eventually-
PlayStation.
yeah.
So I guess
And then obviously they realized that okay, the disc thing is starting to be a thing that's dying out slowly. Hence why a lot of things now are digital. Like I'm pretty sure any PlayStation game or any Xbox game you can buy digitally. You don't have to have a
Dude,
disc.
how many PSPs did they make? Was it just the one?
No, they had one PSP, then they had a second gen, and then they had the slim version, and then they had the really
Go.
small one, the PSP like slidey uppy one. What was that one called? The
Go.
PSP Go.
PSP Go. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And then that was it. And then and then they had the Vita.
The PSP was very successful. The Vita
Yeah.
wasn't as successful. The 3DS was massively successful. I'm pretty sure it's up there like 70, 80 million consoles sold. The Switch is great. Like the Switch is probably going to hit 20 million at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Nintendo definitely has that market cornered, but Sony recently have come out and said that they're still interested in port. And I've always thought Sony's always crazy enough to do it.
Yeah, like Microsoft knows that their thing is PC and Xbox, and I'm pretty sure they feel like those are their lanes.
Do you think?
Yeah, like
they'll bring out another console then?
A portable one,
Yeah.
maybe.
Handheld.
I think they could, and I think they're paying a lot of attention to Nintendo.
Yeah, because the thing is,
like
there
the
is
Vita-
definitely still a market for portable.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Like the Vita didn't sell massively. It sold, I think it was something around 15 million or something like that. It outsold the Wii U, I know that, but
God, that was.
it didn't sell massively, but the attachment rate was huge on it. It was something like 70% of games. Like it was like somebody who owned a Vita bought like upwards of 10 games,
Yeah.
which is quite like crazy for how things usually are.
Well, the way I see it is, like obviously Sony and Nintendo, they're like it's Eastern. You know what I mean? Like it's like Japan, right?
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
like if Nintendo can sell portable stuff well over there, maybe not so well over in the West or wherever, but over there, I'm pretty sure Sony can do it too. You know what I mean? Because Sony's like just popping over here, right? But it's definitely popping over there too. So it's like I feel like Sony definitely has a place for that. Microsoft, on the other hand, I don't know. I feel like Microsoft tries to cater towards more like a Western audience, and I don't think portable consoles is kind of our forte. If I was just gonna like group everybody in, Western are more like not portable, Eastern are more portable. That's the way I see it. So.
Yeah, like especially with Japan as well. There's a big, massive third competitor as well, and that's like the mobile market.
Yeah.
That's what dealt like a huge blow to portable gaming in terms of popularity.
Yeah,
Because one of the things, not everybody has a Switch. Almost I feel like there's a much larger thing of everybody has a smartphone.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's,
Not everybody, but
Majority.
Basically everyone in it.
right? It's funny you say that because it's like that ties on to Pokemon Go earlier. Like over here, we might not view it as being that great, but in Japan, like they freaking love it. Like
I've seen droves of people run to one place to go catch this one thing. It's mad.
And there was games.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. Like Pokemon Go was like a massive like global phenomenon. Like even here, I remember seeing people
Yeah, same.
Like,
Yeah, everybody.
going
And
around,
the thing is,
like,
when
we
it
used
first
to do
came
it,
out,
like,
you knew people
yeah,
were
and
playing
everybody
it.
and people, and the thing is, I guarantee
So-
that if you
so
look
my-
at these sales of portable chargers, they would have gone way up because of
Yeah.
Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
Because people were like,
Like,
"No, I'm gonna be." And people were like, "No, I'm gonna be the very best." Like no one ever was. And everybody was out there.
Oh my days.
Like,
I had people like standing outside my house because my house was a Pokestop. Like, it was so annoying.
long.
Like, they literally just standing outside my house.
Yeah, down my road was a gym.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
That was
that's pretty much it, man. I don't think Microsoft need to or will.
hello.
touch the- Hello.
Sorry, you cut
Hello?
out for like a hot second.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Good. Back to what I was saying. I don't think Microsoft are gonna do the portable thing. I don't think they need to stick with the Windows cross Xbox.
Oh, like you cut out again. I'm sorry.
Oh God! All right, can you hear me now?
Hold on. Did anybody else Jordan cut out as well?
No, yeah, you are cutting out.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay, I'm making sure that I wasn't just ruining the experience for everyone else.
It's okay. It's fine. Tell me if I got it. Just tell me if I got it.
All right, Roman, to try and get it out like fast.
Microsoft won't do a portable console. Done.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I was saying, they wouldn't because I think we can agree that they know their lane. They know that their place is for PCs and the Xbox, and I feel as though spreading out the resources for them to would not. I feel as though they don't need it, especially because their PC market is so large, especially because it doesn't just cater to just gamers. It's like offices and businesses.
Yeah, they can stick with that and they'll be okay with that.
Yeah.
Xbox is really not popular at all in Japan as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I wouldn't think it would be. to be
Yeah, no,
honest.
because they
It's more
obviously
of a-
Sony is
Sony is
yeah. It's very like for them that Sony's like very like it's like how what is it? What's the phone brand that's really popular out there? Is it LG?
Where?
Japan.
Ooh.
I don't know.
No, that's
I think LG,
Samsung,
yeah, like Samsung, but also like LG. I think are like very popular things out there. Whereas
Yeah,
obviously over in
LG,
America and here, it's like
Huawei.
very much Apple oriented.
yeah, Huawei as well because I got one of those. That's like a Chinese brand, though, I think.
But yeah, so it's like that for some reason they just don't see the over there. They don't have love for Xbox like that, which is fair enough.
Right. Does anyone else want to add anything else to the gaming topics before I move on to the?
With the portable thing,
Yeah.
I suppose I'm talking from a point of, I think we touched on this once before, and you can say I'm partially talking from a point of ignorance, I suppose. But I really don't see much of a place for mobile games as they are now, because a lot of them, and I understand, yeah, like for some people they don't have the time or energy to put into like an actual thing into an actual like console, like something like a Switch or something like that, and I get that. But I was saying, I think we talked about this before, because I don't think any of us really play mobile games like that.
No.
So, like I was saying, I think we mentioned this before, there hasn't been a game that I've seen on a mobile that I've gone, whoa, that looks sick, I need to play that. Like everything that I see on for mobile, yeah, like everything that I've seen on mobile is kind of just looks really boring.
One game I will tell you about called Emoji Blitz, yeah. It's a Disney game. It's sick. You gotta play it.
That just sounds
No, you gotta
terrible.
play it. No, seriously. Oh, it's my obsession. It's the only game I've ever loved. With little tiny Disney characters, and you have to pop them. It's great.
Wow, did you have to pop your favorite
No.
children? If you want to be traumatized, yeah, download Emoji Blitz so you can just blast your favorite Disney characters to smithereens.
Fun, it's a good stuff.
With the mobile games, you can there are some good experiences on there.
Oh yeah, I'm not denying that.
Like the Go games, like the Lara Croft Go, Hitman Go,
Yeah.
Deus Ex Go, they're pretty good. I usually like the text games. I don't really play mobile games often, but like the Mr. Robot game is pretty good. Where it kind of like emulated a phone
Still haven't finished.
playing the game like that. But yeah, I don't really see.
Like,
Because
and I don't,
mobile games to me are like the equivalent of what do you remember, like the Flash games on the internet?
yeah.
That's kind of like the
Like
equivalent.
games that you'd play in your free time when you didn't have access to
You're
your
just wasting time, yeah.
Mini clip.
That's
You
why I
remember
was-
mini clips?
Mini
Oh,
clip.
sorry. I thought you said really quick. Sorry. But yeah, like as for me personally, because I think out of all of us, the likelihood of I'm a future game developer. for me, if I had an option to bring something to mobile, honestly, I wouldn't, just because it's yes, I understand it's for people on the go, and I understand there is a market for that. But for me, it wouldn't be a good experience because there's factors that, it's a phone that are limiting. And yes, you can get the little stands that you can put on the end of a controller, so you can play using a controller on the screen right there and then. But for me, then there's the whole talk of battery life and blah blah. For me, it's something that, to do to its full potential, phones just kind of aren't there yet, and I just don't. There's too many limiting factors to mobile games for me personally to develop on successfully. Like, I'm not denying that mobile games don't make a lot of money, because you know what they do. Some of them really take off, like Clash of Clans, and is it Clash Royale or Clan Royale or something like that?
But those are like
what's that game? Angry Birds.
Oh yeah, the penguins,
They used to bring Tap Revenge. Do you remember that game?
Tap Revenge was dope.
Oh, that game was so good.
That game was dope.
That needs to come back.
No game will ever beat Snake.
It was on only
iOS, didn't it? Do you remember? Like, it just disappeared from the world, and I was like, "Where's Tap?"
But the games that make a lot of money are
microtransactions.
Like something came out before of like the App Store. If you took away 50% of the games that were on there, it wouldn't affect the bottom line at all. It's like not all of them make money because of it's kind of like a toxic economy.
Yeah.
My experience with mobile games is I used to own a Windows phone.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I know. I used to.
I remember that.
Stop talking.
It was
That's the equivalent of Xbox making a
Windows phone.
Honestly, right? I had a Nokia Lumia 1020. Best.
Oh god.
Awesome camera. Rest of the phone trash. Had one good feature. I was able to play like some Xbox titles on my actual phone. I actually ended up playing the remake of Final Fantasy III, the full game on my phone. And I think that was a really good kind of a good kind of way to kind of play. But like, you know how the Switch hack, you can kind of play like certain games on the Switch on the go. It's a really awesome way for me to play like Final Fantasy on the go. So that was like the one good thing mobile gaming has done for me. Other than that, it's trash. I don't recommend it.
Yeah, I can understand. I, for me personally,
it's the kind of stuff you do when you're sitting on the toilet. Let's face it.
Yeah.
Toilet games. You know about that.
Honestly, I do see a point where mobile games are, because you see loads of memes about it or whatever, and it's one of those things where you get it's console gamers and PC gamers, and it's like the meme is like two big wrestlers standing there, and then it's just one tiny person, and above them is written mobile gamers, and the mobile gamers trying to hit them both, and then the PC gamers and the console gamers come together and just shit on this guy and lick him out the ring. But it's one of those things where the fact that mobile gamers are looked like that, or looked upon like that, I feel as though at some point it's going to become a thing where it may not die out, but there'll be a moment where it completely like drops.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it'll drop to a point where like people won't even talk about it like that. People won't even talk about mobile games like that, because it'll be.
What do you think will take its place?
Nothing. I don't think anything would want to take mobile gaming's place like that. Like if you mean actuality of like what's going to be the new like anything that's remotely close to like mobile gaming like that, it's better it just stays hidden and never comes out.
Well, that's the thing. If nothing ever takes its place, I don't think it will ever disappear. I think it will always.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. That's what I said. It wouldn't. It was not saying it would drop out of existence, but it would drop to a point where like people wouldn't talk about it like that. Like it wouldn't even, when people talk about games, it wouldn't even come into a conversation.
There is a certain group of people who do that.
Oh yeah.
We're not really into it, but want something to pass time. You're going to get those people.
Oh yeah, 100%. But it'd be one of those things where people will stop talking. But even now, people rarely ever talk about mobile games unless you want to shit on them. That's true. Like people only talk about mobile games. Think about it. We're talking about mobile games now. What are we doing? We're shitting on it.
It's crazy though, because I take a lot of public transport, right? And like I see people playing mobile games on the phones, on the bus, on the tram, all the time, dude. Like all the time. So, like, yeah, it's not necessarily a big conversation starter, but I think it has its place, it has its time, it has its use.
Oh yeah, it definitely has it. I'm not denying it has its place. But it will be one of those things.
I mean, I have two little handheld consoles, and I keep saying to myself, I will bring those with me when I'm doing like long journeys and stuff, instead of looking at my phone all the time, because I kind of want to step out of that sort of social media and then like app stuff. I want to actually play my actual games, but I never do it because it's convenient. You just have to hold your phone and put it in your bag. It's not.
Yeah, because then you get it. Because that's the thing. It's like it's one of those things. You get a notification. And the only time I ever, and the only time I ever,
things at once.
Yeah, and the only time I ever quote unquote mobile game is to play an emulator of a different console that I can play Pokemon. Or Wario World. Or Wario World.
Wario World.
Or Wario Land. Sorry, Wario Land.
I just play Football Manager, to be honest.
Yeah, that's
that guy.
Hey Brian, I read you on that one, man. I like that one big. It's a good one.
But I mean, Fortnite's really successful on mobile.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even on Android yet. Just waiting who's on Android.
It's making millions and millions a month just on mobile.
Jesus.
And that's just iOS. Just iOS. Oh my god! When they release it to Android, it's over. It's like it's over, man. Man, but yeah, that's pretty much it for the gaming topics. People, we can push that aside. Moving on to the entertainment topics. First thing I want to push on to is good old America and good old NFL. There was protests about the national anthem, right? And that happened like when did that happen? It was Colin Kaepernick. When was that? That was last year.
Yeah, I think it was like October.
Oh, there we go. Right.
Yeah, October of last year.
Right.
I think it's longer than that.
No, but from when he started, yeah, because football season's like around that time anyway.
Yeah, but this whole thing like goes back further than that.
Mm.
Because
it goes back towards when Kaepernick took the knee, innit?
Yeah, so did that not happen last year in October?
No, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it was longer.
Oh, so basically, what it is so the NFL protest is basically I feel like it probably started beforehand, but the easiest point to start it off is I forget the name of the team, but there's a guy called Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, 76ers.
The national anthem was playing,
right?
And this was back when, and this was during a period where there was a lot of
police brutality.
Yeah, police brutality, crimes committed against black people, that sort of stuff. And during the national anthem, he took a knee. And that's obviously seen because obviously people usually stand up straight, hand over the chest as the anthem's playing. But he took a knee instead because he's like, I'm not going to stand for this national anthem because it's not doing, because you're basically essentially going, America is not doing anything to to protect his people. Essentially, you can see it like that. So he took a knee and he got cut. Did he get cut? He got cut from his team.
Yeah, he got cut. No, he didn't get cut. He got suspended.
He didn't get cut straight away. I think he got fined, and then eventually he got cut. And now he's just not in the NFL like at all. Like he's been removed and whatever. And they've now said that anybody who doesn't wish to stand for the national anthem or who wants to protest have to stay in the locker room. So people cannot see them protest.
Every right to carry out what action they see fit.
Yeah, so to kind of clarify it all up, basically, they want America, not even that, Donald Trump and the NFL, kind of like, the head of the NFL, they want players to stand up for the national anthem. Because that way they're representing their country, right? The major kind of craziness about it is that Colin Kaepernick, he plays for the 49ers, the San Francisco 49ers. He is doing a peaceful protest, so it's not really... it's not physically effective.
He's not doing no harm. He's not trying to. He's not trying to enforce his point. He's being very, very passive about it.
Right. So
he started in 2016. By the way, I looked up.
2016. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Nice one, dude. Long story short, the NFL basically, like you said, sleep. They're just trying to say, if you're gonna go to a locker room and do it.
But then that's not.
Yeah, because they don't want people to see it because what they're probably worried about, and
it will become a big thing, and they don't want it to.
No, you know what it is. Yeah, the NFL actually didn't need to get involved. Like they actually.
Why would they do? Because the NFL is not owned by someone who looks like.
No, but the only reason they got involved was because Donald Trump had a problem with it.
Yeah.
That's literally the only reason why the NFL is saying.
I think it's a big influence from Donald Trump.
Well, yeah, because the fact of it goes to a point where he could try and pull some nonsense and be like, oh, this is treason because you're whatever, some type of nonsense like that. That could happen.
No, definitely.
Yeah, you're basically not representing your country, right? If you're not standing for the national anthem.
But he has the right. He has the right to do.
Yeah, they have that amendment. What is it?
Freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech. Yeah.
Well,
expression.
Let's be honest. That's been questionable since for a long while. You say something that a lot of people don't like, and then suddenly you're the
It's
bad
like when
guy.
you get arrested and they say you have the right to remain.
Like, I have a freedom of speech.
I will. I know it's not right. It reminds me.
I ain't gonna talk to your ass.
And to kind of like piggyback off your comment, Big. The idea and the reason why it's the NFL didn't have to do anything about it is because the NFL, they have their own rules and regulations for the NFL. No matter what anybody really says, they don't really have to abide by a Donald Trump or abide by society,
but they did,
or social media or whatever. But they just chose to.
But they chose to,
and
it's not. And the thing is, it's not like it's just now happening. This has happened since like
2016.
No, later than that, man. Like later than that, earlier. Like look at how black people have been treated in America for time. And even black athletes have had the struggle. Like even Muhammad Ali, the great Muhammad Ali had struggles of because of his race. And then do you hear boxing committee say that no, because of actually he did throw away his Olympic medal, but still.
Yeah, he didn't fight in the war, did he? It's the fact
of I understand where you're going, and none of us are blind to that. We see where you're coming from. We do all understand that. This has been people in the sporting world have been having to take these type of measures. But the NFL is one of those things where it's broadcast, like especially now, especially how easy it is to see, especially now how fast the news is to travel. Like something can happen in America, like literally at this moment in time, guarantee 20 minutes time, it will be on all social platform pages that like different countries will think. So obviously for us, it's like I'm Just Bait or Why Predo, like all of that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Like stuff that we would see being UK based citizens, we would see that stuff happen because news travels like that, and that's the reason why. Because it's the fact that things can travel now super fast that they try and put a lid on stuff like as quickly as they can.
But the thing is, if no one else really has a problem with it, I don't understand why they feel the need to.
Well, this is the thing though with America. It's like because they don't have that much not culture. I know what I'm trying to say. I can't find the word for it.
You know, America is the lost child of Britain. That's what it is.
What?
I don't know what you mean by that.
Okay, carry on your point.
But yeah, like things like the national anthem and the presidents and stuff like that. That's all they have to cling on to.
Oh,
Patriot. So Donald Trump being his orange glory self, is gonna, obviously he's gonna be the one to take, well, not take offense, but pick up on it because that's all he has. But that's the thing, like, so you can't.
He's basing it off of he's not actually looking at the bigger interest of why this person is doing this.
He's like, how could you disrespect this? It's like
whereas Kaepernick, he's like, yeah, but look how technically your country is doing my people.
Like
he
won't see the bigger picture.
Yeah.
He'll say, it's like the American way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what he's getting. That's like the American way. What is the American way? Like, I mean, like,
hold up. Your mic is going crazy.
What happened?
It's just going bare robotic and spazzy.
It's internet. I can't help that.
The new feature. No.
Trust me, new filter.
Robot.
Hey, try and disconnect from the call and come back, and then
hold on 2 seconds.
Where we left off. See, I thought it was just me.
No, because I tried to stop him earlier, but
I fully came out of the call.
Yeah, I saw you drop off, so that's when I knew it was happening for you as well.
Yeah, no, but I just feel that he's just being black sheep or blackballed.
Black sheep.
Blackballed so hard, and it's literally like, when do we get to a point where, because of social rights or whatever you think, you're actually gonna we're all the same at the end of the day.
Yeah.
No. And he's not coming from a place of
Hello.
Better?
Yeah, do we sound like robots?
I don't know. Talk.
Huh?
Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better now.
Yeah, it's not happening, so go for it.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Do you remember where were we leaving? Oh, you were saying what Donald Trump was saying about.
Like I said, the American way. Like it's.
Yeah, you're saying like but going like this isn't the American way.
Yeah, it's not the American.
So you're saying what is the American way?
Well, this is what I'm saying. Yeah, what is the American way? Like
the American way is kill off the original
slavery
and claim it as your own.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There you go.
Slavery.
But it's like for someone to be that brave and stand up for something they believe in.
Colin, nothing but praise for doing what he did.
And there's going to be a lot of people that are going to stand behind it.
And it's about the whole teams have been taking the knee. And even like Eminem just spoke out at award shows.
Yeah, it's like if he's if they can't take all of us basically. That's it. And they pin down one, hoping the rest will follow. But the thing that's happening nowadays is the fact that people are like, hold on, there's only when it comes to things like there's only a few of you. There is more of us than there are of you. Yeah, exactly.
But it's the few of them that are in power. That's what's dangerous.
Yeah.
So I'm just waiting for Donald Trump to get assassinated.
Mad.
The thing is, I feel Donald Trump was actually like a blessing in disguise for America.
Explain.
Because
I want to hear this. I feel like I know where he's going with it, but go
for the healing process of that, what that country needed for a very long time, and especially the employment of Obama, like they've needed to have this little bit of we're not the famous and we're not the self-righteous country. We all think we are. Like we need to admit we've got problems, and we need to deal with these problems and not be afraid of the problems that we're currently facing. Like we all need to like come together and be like, okay, cool. Donald Trump can never happen again. We need to fix our social and economy, and like we just need to wash ourselves off. I'm not saying we, like I'm American, but still.
No, we don't. Yeah, talking from the point.
Yeah, but like I feel like it was like a blessing in disguise that was needed, man.
Wait, I see where you're going with it, but for me, I don't feel as. I understand. Yes, I get where you're coming from. Do I agree that it should have taken this to get there? No. No,
but remember they had Bush before Obama, and look how bad it was when.
Was an inside job. 9/11 was an inside job.
Oh Jesus!
I mean, I don't really know what you think is going to happen. Like the way I see it, like Trump is just giving all these people a pass to come out and be, bigots, basically.
Yeah, but would you rather know you're openly bigot than just undercover spy?
You're talking about people, healing and addressing their problems and stuff like that. That's just the people that are talking. That's not the silent majority. Like you have to remember, like there's only something like 15% of the population out there is black, and not all of them are opposing Trump.
True.
They have the biggest voice, but the odds are stacked against them.
What I can say, Big, is that I think in terms of kind of seeing where America is right now, I think they can definitely look at themselves and say anybody really can become president. So because of that, we need to really be a bit more.
You can't hear us.
a bit more sensitive, right? A bit more sensitive to who we make president, because I feel like a lot of Donald Trump. Reason why I say he has some genius about him is because a lot of it, I feel like he kind of was able to piggyback off the people that, it's just a joke. He will never be this. He'll never be that. And then now look at him, right? So I think it kind of is a wake up call for them to think like, oh crap, anybody can become president because of that. Maybe we should take a bit more serious next time.
I don't think it was a case of him piggybacking off the people who were saying that he couldn't do it. It was more of the people who were just dumb enough to sort of listen to his weird, outlandish promises, and he was catering his sort of what do you call it? He's catering his campaign towards the majority that live in America.
Yeah. Yeah, so like people, it was the middle of the country.
Yeah.
Yeah, like these poorer, like mainly majority white families, like who work in the factories and the farms and all of these things, like steel work and stuff like that. He's making all these promises to them, and he's pushing the agenda that I'm not a politician. You don't like politicians. I'm not a politician. I'm Donald Trump.
Yeah. So that's what it was more. That's what really got him into power. The fact that he managed to funk on sight these lies. Like, it was mad.
There you go.
Like that's the real reason why he ended up as president, and people are so dumb.
Okay.
Yeah, like even the party he was running for didn't back him.
Jeez, man.
When you know it's like that, that's when you know that person really should not be president.
That's the thing, he made it there though. That's what.
Oh yeah, I'm not denying it. But like, when you deep it was based off of lies.
Wait, hold on, Big. You say started from the bottom. The dude started from a small loan of $1 million.
A small loan of $1 million. What do you mean?
Small loan of $1 million.
If that's his bottom, where are us, man? And woman.
Small loan of $1 million. We'd lucky if I get a loan of £20.
Dude, man. But yeah. To kind of wrap up the topic.
Let me have a small loan of $1 million. Oh, fix my life.
To wrap it up, do you think the NFL can actually do anything about it?
Can they? Yes. Will they? No.
Good. I like that answer. That's a really good answer. Same way I would answer it. They can because it's their NFL.
They could definitely just be like, Donald Trump, you're a waste man. Shut up, and then it could just be just that. But would the person who owns the NFL have the courage to do that? Hell no. He'll wind up dead next week with HIV.
Mad.
Trust me, taken out just like Easy got taken out.
Oh, come on, man.
Wow.
Trust me, man, he'll suddenly take ill. Man, with somebody in a all blacked out suit with black leather gloves coming like Agent 47, just like, garrot. It's done.
Dude, that's cold, man. All right, moving on. It's been pretty hot this week. Pusha T versus Drake. To give you a bit
Drake,
oh my mom's life, let's go.
Oh my god. Pusha T straight for the jugular. F it up here. Straight for his neck. Straight for his neck.
Hold on, Big.
I love it.
Let me do the beginning. So, if anybody who's been living under a rock doesn't know, Pusha T.
Me.
Okay, if you don't know this, then just go eat some corn, innit?
Go eat some corn, you know.
It's fine. I'll explain it. Don't worry. It's okay. Pusha T did a diss track called Infrared
on his album
to Drake. It wasn't necessarily. It's just a small snippet to Drake. Well, I'll get into it in a second, but a small snippet to Drake.
Yeah, just a little jab.
Drake then came back at Pusha with an actual full-length track called the Duppy Freestyle to diss Pusha T, and then Pusha T then decided to bury Drake by finishing off the diss beef with
put him in a coffin
with story Adium, right? And basically on Infrared, Pusha T talked about Drake having ghost writers. That's nothing new. We all know about that. Drake, obviously, he's light skinned and he takes everything offensive.
Wait.
He decided to make a full.
Oh my god!
decided to do a full diss track. I don't know, called Duppy Freestyle. It's actually okay, not too bad. I think it was really good actually. To be fair, I think it just gets outshadowed. I think it's get overshadowed. Sorry, by Pusha T's return back. Anyway, Drake. I don't really know where to tackle this. I don't think we really need to talk about the first diss track Infrared. It's not really that important. Other than the ghostwriting thing, but Drake came at Pusha T based on the fact that he's with good music. Obviously, Kanye West. I know the controversy that Kanye West has been with recently. So Drake dissed Pusha T on that. Said that Pusha T was not even the best person on the label. So he pretty much said that. He talked about his drug dealing.
Well, I think it's important to note, like, they've been going at each other for years.
For time.
Like, since, 2012.
Pusha and Birdman.
Jabs. And Pusha's now, he responded to Drake's Two Birds and One Stone, where Drake went at Cudi and Pusha. And then, Pusha basically baited him. This is the first time we've got, a proper diss track, a direct thing of where... and Drake's the one who gave it to us or whatever. No, what are you talking about? His diss was really good. I don't like Drake at all. I don't like his music. I don't like him. Nothing. But I have to give him props. Like, I was not expecting this from him at all, and he hit on a lot of good points. I was sitting there thinking, like, rah, like he hit on a lot of things that could go after him. The only thing I'd say though, it sounded more like a diss towards Kanye than Pusha.
Yeah. Because I remember I was listening to Shima because Shima was telling me to listen to it, and I was like, feels like he's sending more for Kanye than anything.
But you know, he ain't gonna get a response from Kanye.
Right.
Why would he bother? Look at Kanye, bro.
No, the only person Kanye actually gave his energy to was Jay-Z.
Right. and basically, if you haven't listened to the whole beef between all the songs, I reckon what you do, because they've been pretty popular right now and they're pretty awesome. But that's pretty much what Pusha T kind of talked about. It's not Pusha T, sorry, Drake kind of talked about it. It was Pusha T not being the best on his label, Kanye being signed with Kanye West.
You ain't sold the drugs that you said.
Right, you know what I mean? And I think that's the three main things, right? And then Pusha T then came back. And,
Hiya!
Alright, I'm gonna list out the stuff that I think
it's hot.
If I miss anything,
it's hot.
Well, I think you should start with the cover art.
Yeah, don't worry, I'm going to. If I miss anything, please pick me up. Right, so story of Adion. I think that's how you pronounce it, right? Was it Adidon?
I think it's Adidon.
Adidon, that's it. There you go. Adidon. First and foremost, Pusha T.
It's Swagadon.
Puts the thumbnail as Drake wearing blackface. Now, when I first saw it, I was scrolling through my YouTube. I saw like it was posted by World Star Hip Hop or whatever their YouTube channel is, and I was like, damn. What the hell's going on here? Obviously, I listened to the track and I was like, oh shit. Like, Pusha T went so far to Photoshop this image. But it turns out...
it wasn't...
Wait. It turns out that the image of Drake having blackface wasn't even Photoshopped. So that's red strike number one, right? Okay? Then in the actual track, he talks about... First and foremost, he talks about a lot of stuff. He talks about his mom, Drake's mom. He talks about Drake's dad.
Oh my god!
Right?
No, Drake, I can't lie right now. Your black card has been suspended.
Right, he talks about basically Drake's dad. What does he say? He wears Steve Harvey suits. I think
he does. Right? He actually does.
On about his dad leaving him when he was 5.
Hold on, can we just haven't you seen Drake's dad's music video?
No.
Oh my god, it's amazing.
Is it really?
It's hilarious.
That was a music video.
Yeah, he's looking like one of them. He looks like R. Kelly, just gone wrong, bro.
His dad used to be an artist, but he recently released a music video of him. Like, there's a smoke machine. There's like slow motion shots of him drinking with like girls that are old enough to be his daughter, drinking champagne and all of this stuff.
No.
It's hella creepy, but it's amazing.
on that Bill Cosby vibe, yeah.
Oh my. Right. So there's that. Then he talks about his dad leaving him when he was 5. Drake's dad leaving him when he was 5. Then he talked about how Drake. What did he say? He goes, Drake's cut off his afro because he was afraid it wasn't nappy enough. Because obviously, you know, Drake's trying to get in all cool with the black community and that. He talks about his baby mums being a porn star. Which then leads to the question of Drake actually having a child, which no one knew in the first place, right?
I can't like Drake.
Apparently, people have said they've known, but I think it's not like it's one of those things. It's not common.
I knew about it last year because it was a story last year.
I only just heard about it, and when he was like, "It's a porn star," I was like, "Ah!"
Drake,
but it kind of died down. This girl was like,
I get it.
This guy was this girl. She was like in photos with him and his family, like all of this stuff. And then like as time's progressed, the relationship hasn't gone well because obviously he wasn't with her. She was beat or whatever. Yeah. And she's like slandering him on social media and stuff like that. Until like last week when all this stuff was happening, her pinned tweet was Drake is a deadbeat dad.
Heck.
But now all of her tweets have been deleted.
Have you seen her Instagram now?
All cleared up. There's like 11 photos of there. They all look motherly.
Trust.
Oh, goodness.
I am no longer a dirty hoe.
And I think the last thing that really topped off for me was
wait, hold up, wait. How could she be a porn star and then decide to keep Drake's baby? That's just
What do you mean? That's money. That's secured the bag.
That's
18 years. 18 years, and after 18 years, you found out you wasn't his.
Oh, imagine if the kid wasn't even Drake's. That would be the peakest thing.
Everyone's been saying.
But it's definitely his kid. You can see him, and you can just see the Graham Aubrey in his face, bro.
So the last thing is basically Pusha T goes to say, obviously Drake's dad leaving him at 5, and obviously like Drake not looking after his own kid and bringing it to like the spotlight or whatever.
Man said he's actually at Border Patrol.
basically like it runs in his family's DNA to not look after their children. Is basically what you're trying to say, and I think that to me pretty much closed it off. I was like, yo, Drake, there's nothing you can say to come back. So before I get into what Drake said on Instagram to respond to the blackface thing, I want to kind of say it's a stupid question, but who won, right?
Ah,
you know what I mean?
Jordan Gal.
Listen. Pusha T, or how he shall now be known as Pusha Thanos, and clicked his fingers one time. And then Drake said, "Hey Weezy, I don't feel so good."
Oh my god!
Listen, he's been silent. There's nothing.
Yes.
I don't think there's anything he can say. Like the stuff.
He hasn't said anything.
He released a statement about the blackface.
Let's be honest.
No, but that's it.
Drake got gassed over the Meek Mill over his Meek Mill beef. Yeah.
But
here's the thing. He was already beefing with somebody who was dead anyway.
Hey,
so the
what? Wait, what?
He got
Wait,
gassed.
what?
Like, you know what? I can handle Pusha T.
Like you just called Meek Mill dead.
I did.
Come on, man.
Are you alright?
I went past it. I went past it because it's common knowledge that he's dead.
No, do you even listen to his songs like that to know that he's dead?
I don't have to listen to his songs like that.
No,
it's alright, big.
Because we can stop this podcast.
Okay, let me put it to you this way. Let me put it this way. I've listened to some Meek Mill stuff, yeah, but not all of it. I'll put that out there. I've listened to some of his stuff, but not all of his stuff, yeah. So from that stuff, I can make an opinion of what I think of his music. Now, tell me this, yeah. I've listened to one track by Guacamole. You think the rest of their discography is good, bro?
Hey, shout out to PG's Mandem.
I hold tight the real Nottingham crew.
Nino, Mayday.
Oh my god.
So dead.
Isabel, if you haven't seen Guacamole, don't.
I will show you this.
I'm terrified already.
It is hilarious.
Oh my god.
It is the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Greatest thing to come out of Nottingham since PG himself.
That's the worst thing about it. They're from my neighborhood. Oh, Jesus, man. Come on.
They walk past PGG's house.
Yeah, trust me, Jordan's the man like PG.
They filmed it in his kitchen.
Trust me. They spun him in the morning on the way to school.
Oh my gosh.
By the way, they go to school in unit, bruv.
Jesus.
Nino.
But, okay.
But yeah, back to the thing.
I feel like he got gassed over that, and he was all like, "Oh, you know what? I can hang with the best of them." And he was all like, "Come, let me send for Pusha." Oh boy.
This is the thing, though.
It was a very long day for him.
This is the thing, though, right? Drake. I give him some respect because I feel like his Pusha T his Dopey freestyle was good. I just think the Pusha T comeback.
The comeback
is too good that it blows.
Listen.
Out of water, you know.
Listen, man.
Pusha
T essentially just did this. He just did this. He was like, "Oh, cool. Drake, send him for me." Over.
Yeah, man, and like you said, Shooms, like Pusha T is not done. Drake.
Yeah, he's not done. He's ready.
You already know Pusha's got like at least 3 more tracks waiting.
Drake did say that he has something else in the works for him too.
Like what? An apology.
I think Drake was going to try and back him.
Yeah.
He went back to work.
Back to back.
You know?
Listen, there was some guy on YouTube who was talking about this, and it made me crease. He was saying, "So you want to talk about all this nice for what, uplifting our black women, taking all the money from the black community and pumping it into the white French community, and you have the nerve to talk about God's plan? No, Drake, that was your plan."
Mad.
It's all mad.
I find that so funny. But yeah, this whole Adidon thing. So Adidon apparently was meant to be Drake's upcoming clothing line with Adidas.
Yeah.
and it was also going to be the time where he announced that he has a son. So he was basically going to use his son as a rollout for his clothing line.
Bastard.
Man said, "Hey son, come into my life real quick." Oh, cool. Deal secured. Right, see you later.
Dude, and look, man. The one thing that frustrates me is,
man needed to yeet his fetus.
In a beef, right? Most people you think, oh yeah, they're gonna come back with some fire, right? Something about Drake is that he doesn't actually have to. Drake to me is like all he has to do is do what he did, which is respond on Instagram, right? And that's it. He doesn't even need to actually do another track. I don't think it's gonna affect him or his career at all.
His career is gonna be fine, but Drake has always wanted the respect from the real hip hop community, and that ghostwriting stuff really tarnished his name in that light. And I think that's why he jumps in the mix of these battles. Like he wants the respect from others. That's why he responded with the Pusha's like regarded as one of the top lyricists.
But the thing is, it only tarnished his name when he went around claiming that he doesn't write his own stuff. That he does write his own stuff, and he was like he's the greatest alive. Like if you never said that, no one would have cared, because everybody knows like people write. Like it's common knowledge that everybody knows that songs that you hear are mostly written by somebody else, or there's a process behind it.
Yeah. Because I was gonna say.
So yeah, if you can't then claim you're the greatest, but then you're getting people to write your hits for you, like.
I mean, because Drake is technically so just real quick, especially because Drake, you would tie him more into the the pop genre. Most of the people in the pop genre have their stuff written by someone else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like for him for him saying that he writes his own stuff, like it's kind of like your genre usually doesn't. So you saying that you did, but you got bodied anyway. Funny.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say I was kind of want to glance over what he said on Instagram, and it was about the blackface. He didn't mention anything about Pusha T, and it took him 24 hours to come out with this Instagram post. I'm not going to read it all out because it's quite long-winded. You can go check it out yourself. But essentially, he basically says anybody who's enjoying the circus, he wants to clarify the image in question. The image is from a picture from 2007 where he was doing acting. He's working on a project about a young black actor struggling to get roles, being stereotyped. Basically, the photo is how African Americans were once wrongfully portrayed in entertainment. Basically, he's just kind of saying that back in 2007, this is how African Americans were had to kind of seem to be happy, kind of blah 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 blah, and that's what the blackface image was supposed to portray. I think it's BS.
I'm not hearing it. I'm not hearing it at all.
Right, I think it's BS. Very simple. Big. Main reason because it doesn't take you 24 hours. No, Peach. Yeah, it's not even that. It is the fact of any black matter that happens, Drake never talks about it. Never once would you ever hear Drake say something about Black Lives Matter or to be with the people. He always just wants to play on the fence. So he did that on purpose. It was never a state because okay, cool. If he said that happened, why didn't you never mention it in any of your songs? That's the thing.
Because he's not that guy. He's a pop act. He makes he's hit driven.
Yeah, because all he wants to talk about is girls and.
I mean, now he's talking about being all uplifting, but like Shims was saying, he's apparently taking us to take like all of these earnings and pumping it into white French Canada.
No, white French community. So
white French community.
The woman's from France. The baby mom's from France.
Normally do from
but for me, I feel like all this stuff that he's been doing recently puts things into perspective because I think he knew some sort of like scandal was coming. So with God's plan, he was giving away money. Nice for what he's uplifting women and stuff like that because I think he knew around about June time he's gonna drop this thing.
Hey, nobody wants to be Kevin Hart, man.
Oh my days, because of Kevin Hart. Yeah, no, I think you got a point. I just think I personally think the Instagram post is not done personally from him. I think it's done like by his team. I think his team's just like, oh wait, we need to like look at this and kind of like say the best PG-13 thing we could say. 24 hours later, a bunch of his teammates managed to think of something to post. Because me personally, right, if you've done something wrong and you get caught out on it, you're supposed to speak on it straight away. It doesn't take you 24 hours to digest and say basically it wasn't me trying to discredit any African Americans for me to kind of show a light to something. That shouldn't take you 24 hours to post. I'm sorry, like that just doesn't take 24 hours to clear up to me.
Yeah, because he's got a team working with him 24/7 for whenever these type of things could do happen.
So he could have the second Pusha T said something about it, posted that picture. What else?
Because he would have been eyeing his page too. He would have been.
Right.
You have to eye up anyone you're beefing. You eye up whatever they're on.
By the way, he's been going around getting that photo taken down. So like on Push's Instagram page, it's not there because it's been reported.
Yep. And Pusha T did say, please do not look at this thumbnail as artwork because nobody had photoshopped it or edited it. It's actually just come straight.
Yeah, it's a real photo.
Yeah, right. And when Pusha posted that on, I think it was Twitter he posted it on, Drake should have posted something straight away. If it was genuine, should have posted something straight away. You don't wait 24 hours. I'm sorry, I don't care who you all, how busy.
The question is,
well.
so Pusha wouldn't have been able to just. He might have been able to find this on the internet. But do you reckon somebody that like like 9/11
somebody in
inside job?
No. So somebody could remember. I remember hearing about. So basically, Pusha has a connection with I think one of the labels, and the artist or the person who took the photo basically came out to Push and was like, "Yo, I've got this photo of Drake. What are you telling me? This is yours." And he was like, "Yeah, okay, cool, let me see it." And then it was that photo.
No, it wasn't the photographer who gave it to him. The photographer had spoken to Pusha, but Pusha was saying now the photographer was defending it. He was saying it was like, oh, it's a really good piece and blah, 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 blah. It's comments on this, whatever, like that. Pusha's never disclosed where he got it from. He doesn't want to reveal his sources.
I think it's from one of Drake's team. I think somebody's working behind him. Behind his back. That tends to be the case for most of these things anyway. So,
listen, I wouldn't be surprised if the baby mum's flipping helping him.
Yeah.
What? That's me.
Drake, I get it. Okay, I get it. I get it.
But look,
what do you get? Nothing.
Listen, Push said to him, "Forget she's a porn star. Respect that girl and make her your world." Yeah.
Don't save her. She don't want to be saved. Don't save her.
Like, anyway, if you haven't listened to it, people, I recommend you definitely do. All three of them in back to back. I recommend you definitely listen to them because if you don't listen to the first two, then the last one, it's awesome anyway. But you really get that, you really get like, oh my days.
We're talking the hardest.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So Drake, R.I.P.
R.I.P. Alright.
Your summer 18 is not going to be good for you, my guy. I'm sorry.
And the thing is, Push was so calculated with it as well.
Oh, sensational.
Like, it's almost there. If for you to like give Drake, like make Drake's fans, because Drake's fans, they'll like back him to like wherever, innit? Like they'll have a defense for something. But the way he got the female like base and was like, okay, you know what? You're a deadbeat dad. Bring your son home. Hey, and it's all truth. He's not made one lie as well.
Yeah, it's just like he spit facts.
It's like facts. It's like, this is all stuff that people know, but I guess everyone knows now, isn't it?
God, man. Yeah, that's.
Do you think Drake's gonna make a response?
No.
And
no, he shouldn't. He shouldn't. For what? For Push to body him more. He's already in the.
I kind of want that.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. It should happen and it'll be hilarious. But why would you get buried to crawl out just to get Spartan kicked straight back in?
You know exactly why. Dig them up and then bury them again, fam.
Dig them up and bury them again. Dig them up and bury them again.
Look, all I can say is, knowing Drake, he will release another kind of pop, hip kind of song and he will have a verse or like no even verse. He will have like a one line, kind of like sort how he's feeling about it, and that'll be it. You know, to kind of.
I want Pusha and Meek Mill just to like just double team him, and then
listen, Meek had his chance and he fucked it up.
Yeah,
hold on, let's be honest though. Let's be honest, if Meek and Pusha actually collabed to come try and take down Drake, wouldn't then Meek then be ghost? Because I don't think Pusha would trust Meek to come up with anything of substance.
wow.
Listen, Meek could have won that easily. But the problem was he was just fucking around. Like
exactly, that's what I'm saying.
The reason why we say this ghostwriting stuff is because of Meek. Meek came out and told us a load of stuff. How like Drake got like pissed on in a cinema by some dog, like T.I.'s friend or something. Yeah, like
it wasn't R. Kelly's friend.
No one cares. Like Pusha attacked his character, and that's what somebody.
And the thing is, I rate it because Drake had the audacity to bring up his wife.
What he said was his wife's name, and then Pusha was like, "Oh no."
And the thing is, it was no. He didn't. In fact, he said his wife's name. He said his wife's name, and it was a dead bar. It was a dead bar.
Yeah, something like keep
it was a whack bar.
I'll
make you wet like
or something like that.
Yeah, whack bar. And then Pusha was like, "Cool, you boy." Huh, you don't fucked up.
Hey, I know what side you're on, bro. I can tell what side
with the bus driver uppercut. You going to jail now?
I remember that. You going to jail now?
No, that was hilarious.
Hey, look.
The bus driver uppercut. Oh, I need to go look at that again real quick.
You guys got any final words for Drake? Any help that he could possibly?
Here lies.
Fuck Drake,
Graham.
Fuck Drake, you're dead. You're finished out here, P. You're done in these streets.
I saw Charlamagne saying today how Drake needs to tap into his white side, and he needs to come out with a statement and say something like, "Terrence went too far. He should never have brought up MS. MS should not be joked about or like made fun of or anything like that."
Oh my. Yeah. So,
guys, I'm gonna let you guys know. Oh no, I was just letting you guys know. I'm gonna jump off in like 10 minutes because your boy's got to wake up hella early in the morning.
Don't worry. We're gonna pretty much wrap up these final two topics. First topic we're gonna wrap up is Netflix and it's.
Me and Shumo were talking about this. This is the maddest thing. Shumo, take over because unfortunately my bladder is weak right now. But take over. This was so mad.
Okay, so I think it was last week. Netflix's market worth was officially more than Disney's, making it
that is mad though.
Making it the most
valuable. How long Disney's been along for as well.
Making it the most valuable media company. But by the end of close of that day, it did slip back under Disney. So Disney is on top, but it's still above Comcast, which is the massive like cable company in America or whatever, control everything. But no, that's insane to me. Like, just if you think about it, Netflix, you pay like what £6-7 a month or whatever.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of us are trapping on other people's ones. But it's insane to me because they invest so much in their programming. I just wonder how they make money because they don't run ads on their services or anything like that. It's so bizarre, and the fact that just even for a moment they were worth more than Disney. Disney is a massive conglomerate. They own news outlets, they own sports outlets, comics. They own basically everything. Like they have. When it comes to entertainment, they have their finger in a lot of pies.
Just to kind of cut in, right?
They have their finger in a lot of pies.
Put it this way, right? Netflix strives a lot because of its Netflix originals. A lot of the Marvel stuff, right? I'm pretty sure Disney owns part of Marvel anyway. So
no, Disney own Marvel. Yeah, like outright now.
Yeah, the whole of it.
So even in a way, Disney still kind of own a little bit of what Netflix is showing. So Disney own almost everything. So it's insane to see that Netflix, is able to kind of like even for a little bit, battle with the top boys. So, but at the same time, though, I did find something looking up on this, and Disney is planning to start its own streaming service as well.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know what they're going to show on it, to be honest with you.
I was gonna say, how?
I mean, they're going to show all of their stuff. Like they've said, like eventually all their stuff is going to come off of Netflix, and Disney's going to have all their stuff. So Disney owns Star Wars, Disney own Marvel, Disney own Pixar, Disney own all of their original like Disney movies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There is going to be a lot of content on there, including like TV shows that they own. All of it. Like they could put sport. They own ESPN. They could put sports on there. They're trying to buy Fox at the moment.
They could up then, isn't it? Because
potentially, it would definitely them leaving would definitely drop their market value. I believe.
Yeah.
I feel.
Disney, best of luck to you. I mean, at Netflix, I think though, with you being able to reach that, kind of sky's the limit for now. I put in a question saying, basically, will Netflix ever reach AT&T or
AT&T or Verizon?
Yeah, Verizon. There you go. Right, and that's estimated worth about 200 billion. Right, and Netflix was reaching 153 billion at one.
Yeah, 153. Yeah. Yeah, which is when they overtook Disney.
Disney, right? And that's insane to me. I mean, if you can overtake Disney, surely you could even catch it with even higher people than that. So, Netflix, good job. Beating Disney is an incredible feat because Disney, like we mentioned, owns fucking everything. So with that being said, I'm going to move on to the Spotify. Apologies, and kind of Spotify did this thing where it basically stopped promoting both R. Kelly, which everybody knows R. Kelly, and I don't think anyone cares about this guy, but XXX Tentacion. I don't think anyone really cares about him.
What the hell is that?
Right, he's the guy who does "Look at Me." Is that the song called?
Look at me, look at me,
that's the song.
look at me.
Him! Oh god!
Basically, they stopped.
Wait, don't you find him buff though?
Mad.
I don't even know what he looks like. He sounds like a.
Right, why are you showing?
No, he's not a white boy.
Why are you showing?
Shut up!
He's got white odor and he doesn't look smelly.
He might shower.
It's not good for guys that look white and smelly.
Jakey.
Try to catch me white and smelly.
Okay, so
he looks like.
This is what he did look like, and now this is closer
He
to what
looks dehydrated.
Yes. Dehydrated is the best word for it.
He looks dehydrated, malnourished.
He definitely doesn't look malnourished. Like he's in better shape than like all of us, man.
Underdeveloped and just like he's got allergies. Like he needs to calm down.
Allergy.
He's tired.
You say he's tired?
Yeah, maybe
No, he's tiny.
tired.
Oh, yeah. He looks. When he had his hair up when he was doing that concert, he looked like Kid Boo.
Yeah, I know what picture you're talking about.
What happened is basically Spotify stopped promoting both R. Kelly and obviously
He look Bob.
And because of that, basically they couldn't be found on any of Spotify made playlists. So not playlists that we make, a playlist that Spotify makes and promotes on the homepages and stuff. However, though, if you still wanted to search and find a song by R. Kelly, or for some reason XXX Tentacion, you can still find it and put them into a playlist. It's just only a Spotify made playlist. Which kind of answers me the question, isn't that kind of robbing them a little bit? Because not only are you taking them off from being promoted, you're still allowing people to use your platform to listen to their music.
But the thing is, like, what were the reasons that they got taken off? Wasn't it because of R. Kelly's
history
allegation? Yeah.
Okay.
Let's just say history.
Right, and also because of XXX, his kind of the stuff he's been saying in songs, right? So basically,
what? Look at
no, it's not just that. It's so he's going through a court case at the moment where he's been accused of some really, really fucked up shit, like with his previous girlfriend, like assault, battery, like pretty much torture, kidnapping, all of this stuff. But it's really fuzzy because this creeps up, and then the girl's like, "Oh no, don't worry, I don't want you to go to prison." Blah blah blah. There's stuff like where she's like trying to get money out of him, stuff like that. There's texts and stuff like that. It's really weird. The whole case is weird, but anyway, regardless, this is a slippery slope to me, because if you're going to go at these people because they have allegations at this point, he hasn't been convicted of anything, and from what I'm aware of, R. Kelly hasn't been convicted of anything either. If you're going to go after people with allegations, you're going to have to take everyone off.
Right, that's
Yeah.
the thing.
Charles, that's literally what I was about to say.
But
Like, you've got people on there that are convicted, but you will still play them.
But this,
Yeah.
this is the thing, though. This is where it gets a bit. This is where it gets a little bit twisted, because Spotify isn't taking them off the service; it's just stopping for promoting them. So it's like, you know, when you go on Spotify and you click on, I don't know, some mix or something. You don't make it yourself; you just click on whatever the first.
Like Rap Caviar and
Yeah, you got it right. R. Kelly songs will not be there, but you can just type in R. Kelly and he'll still be in there. So it's kind of like Spotify; they're still using him.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he's still on Spotify is fine. The whole not promoting them, like if they're supposed to be the thing of a playlist, then that's one of those things where it's like, I think it's a little bit silly, a little bit, especially like we were saying, because they're not actually convicted of it. It's just it's just allegations as well, and it's just the fact of it's one of those things you can't just pick and choose. Like, it has to be other people.
In fact, they just want to make an example out of these people.
And, but I don't feel like it's effective, because of you're picking people like out of a hat by the looks of it. It's not like, oh well, I don't know, someone who's been convicted of Gucci Mane was convicted of murder, I'm pretty sure, but he'll still be on a playlist.
Yeah. Like, a lot of these things, like, they're just picking and choosing. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, it's either all of them or none of them. Well, that should be the end of it.
It's not because they're like unpopular. Like, that's not why you're taking them off. Like, this Triple X guy, he is very popular.
He's popping, bruv.
Yeah, on like streaming and stuff like that. His album does very well, stuff like that. R. Kelly's number, somehow, after he was taken off of this, R. Kelly's streaming numbers have gone up. I have no idea how.
I think it's because
people are probably testing the theory, like trying to figure out.
No, I think the reason why is because some people probably forgot about him, and this helped them rediscover him.
So they haven't really done themselves a favour, have they?
No, they actually did come out and apologise. Saying that the way they handled the R. Kelly situation was wrong. They didn't really mention too much about the Triple X situation. It was just more of the R. Kelly thing. But they said, basically quoting, the goal for this was to make sure we didn't have any hate speech or hateful conduct on the service. They even went to say.
What do they mean by that? As in, like, people slagging them off for having the music on there?
No, XXS was basically going at the KKK. Yeah. But the ones that when people, the thing is, when people do that, you defending it looks funny.
I'm sorry. Okay, there's fair enough. That's
the KKK.
Wrong. That's wrong.
I understand.
It's weird. But then there's music like I've heard some metal songs that talk about like weird shit like Satan crap and babies and all that. So they're going to take that off.
Babies and all that.
No, trust me.
Say it enough to kids.
Trust me.
Say it's black metal, children.
Guys, black metal is a serious thing.
I'll even go to read the next quote. They even said, "I think we wrote
the next what?
Wrong."
The next what?
Sorry, the next quote. The next quote saying that we think we rolled this out wrong and we could have done a better job communicating it, but we finalized by saying if you are talking about KKK and doing that kind of stuff, that may not make any sense, but whatever. It's pretty obvious that we do not want you on our service. So
who wrote that?
So you want to big up? See what?
Yeah, here's the thing. Here's the problem that I have like that. Yeah. So think about it. There's plenty of other older songs where I'm pretty sure Kanye's mentioned the KKK at some point. And let's be honest, there's been more artists than I can conjure up in my brain right now who probably mentioned the KKK and talking about doing whatever.
How did he mention it though? Was it in a what kind
of way?
Song?
I know it was definitely in a song.
No, I don't think they're saying he mentioned it. I think they're saying that as an example.
Yeah.
You're saying something like, I want to, like, I'm part of the KKK, I hate blah, 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 blah. I think that's what they're saying, like, hate speech like that they don't want on their thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They're backpedaling on something that they haven't established because this guy isn't like making hate speech songs. He makes a lot of different music. It's not hateful.
It's just alternative.
And that's pretty much it, man. I think, long story short, I think Spotify need to kind of just stop what they're doing, look at it all, and approach it and change their policies on everybody.
Yeah, and it should be thing for everyone, no matter how big or small you are.
Right. I think the two examples they used were kind of unnecessary. Don't really think they needed to be used, but I guess they were just the scapegoats. I guess.
Yeah, they wanted to make an example out of them, man.
Yeah, right. And I also think just because of the stuff that they allegedly have done, it's kind of a way to kind of use them without really getting that much backlash back. They couldn't do that with a Drake, for example. You know what I mean? Even though there's probably not anything.
You will have a bitch fit.
Hey, Kendrick came out and said that he's threatening to take all his music off if they don't.
Yeah, he did.
Flex back on.
He did. Yeah, that's kind of it when it comes to the Spotify thing. They did apologize, and I think they're gonna do something about it. But at the same time, it's kind of like, whoa, Spotify, chill. Because like, if you start pissing off the wrong people and don't do anything about it, you will feel the effects. Like I even got a little thing in here. Currently, Spotify is ranked first place with 71 million members. Apple Music is second with 40 million. That's quite a big gap. But
shit.
And that's just premium members. Like you got to remember, Spotify is free. You can go on there and use it as long as you put up with the ads. Like anyone can use it.
There you go.
Nah, the ads on there.
Trust me. And if you turn the volume all the way down, it will pause the ad.
Trust me.
Really?
Trust
That's
me.
a new.
That's been about since day. That's been about
Like,
since.
I don't
If you do this, if you do that, it's fine. You can change it on like if you have something external. But if you turn down Spotify's volume all the way to the bottom, they'll be like, "Hey, we know you've turned this off. Put it back on."
Yeah, they're slick with it. They think
Snakes.
But yeah, it's pissing people off will start to dwindle your numbers down for sure. Look at what happened to SoundCloud. Yeah, so
that hurt, man. Bad memories.
That is pretty much it for today. Does anybody else have anything else they want to add before we call it a wrap?
Huh?
Hello?
Is there anything you want to add on?
Hello, are you there,
my
my friend? With us.
I'm guessing.
I do want to say one thing real quick. Just a big shout out to Big Imperial for not falling asleep during this podcast. I think we can all give him a hearty little round of applause for not falling asleep. Well done,
guys. Thank you. You guys know I work hard, man.
Go on, tell us who you want to thank. Award show season. Go on, speak.
First of all, I want to give glory to God because without God, nothing can happen. I want to thank my mum, and I want to thank my dad. I want to thank my brother Stefan, DJ Supreme.
Shameless plugs.
I want to thank you guys at home for tuning into the podcast as well. I want to thank. I want to thank the lady who served me my Tesco.
On a serious note, let's just stop you there.
Yeah, let's close it out. Once again, everybody, thank you very much for coming by and listening to the Powered Up podcast. I've actually had some responses back from people in real life telling me they do like this type of stuff, so we're gonna keep it coming. We'll see you next Sunday for the next episode with more good stuff to talk about. Anybody else want to kind of say anything before I go?
Make sure you follow.
It's an inside job. No.
Wow. Make sure you follow everybody on our social medias. All the links are going to be in the description for the video below. Let us also know in the comment section if you reckon we should do because I mentioned this before. We might try and do a live stream version of this just to see the response difference, just to see if there's anything different, and we can sort of change up sort of little bits and how we do things, so we can have like a little question time after we talk about a whole section, so like the gaming section or the entertainment section. And make sure you also links to everyone's things are in the description.
Yeah. On that note, people, we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.
Peace.